just in the spare part canisters.
Red 2, standing by.
Red 11, standing by.
Red 5, standing by.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost!
We're making the sex. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Casual Rage 41, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. And of course, there's actually been a lot on the cards this week, from anything to do with Marvel, to do with Star Wars. It's been a very, very interesting week. And we are going to talk also a little bit about canon and just the importance of it and what canon actually is and all of that sort of thing.
One in.
Because there's been a bit of discussion on Twitter this week about what is and isn't canon. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Somebody just over here did an entire documentary that went for about 45 minutes. So you can go and watch that. Very, very good. But hello, everyone. Hello, Tim. Welcome to Casual Rage.
Hey, I like that Boba Fett starship in your opening and behind your head there. That's Boba Fett's starship, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Boba Fett starship.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Slave one, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we also have Greg, Lost Jedi 22. How are you, my friend?
I am doing well.
That's good. Good to hear. Good to hear.
I don't like your Boba Fett ship because I hate Boba Fett.
Stop calling it Boba Fett ship. So just call it Slave One. All right?
No, I'll call it Brat One.
Now, come
Boba
on.
Brat One.
That's the canon name for me. Brat One.
It's
The Book of Boba Brat.
One.
Now, before we get right into all the topics and everything that we're going to go through, I've got to let everyone know a few housekeeping things. Got to let everyone know I've just opened up my memberships. Thank you, everyone, so far that has become a member. I've already got 3, which is...
Does that include the one that just got added?
No, that makes it 4. So we'll get to that in just a sec. There's, of course, my tracking fobs level is the first level. So I've already got 2 tracking fobs, which is just going to trigger the shit out of me, which is Scimitar and Lethal Lightning. So thank you to both of those 2. There is 1 light speed skipper, which is the next level, which is Daniel James. Congratulations, Daniel. You are a light speed skipper. And there's also the Lore Masters. Now, I do need to apparently change the spelling of lore, so it's Loure instead of
get it right.
Instead of Lore. So, yes, and of course, just in the chat, we thank, of course, Biggles Metz for becoming a member. It doesn't tell me what level you became.
He's a tracking fob.
He's a tracking fob. Thank you for becoming my 3rd tracking fob. I'm going to collect plenty of bounties with all 3 of you, so thank you. And, of course, we just had Mara jump in the back. Hello, Mara. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Having fun.
What have you been up to this week?
Really not much. Not much. Just getting like a lot of crap done around here because tomorrow I'm going to be hanging out with my siblings. So most of my evening will be spent at my brother's place, seeing my niece. So
nice. I get to see my grandma this weekend, actually, for the first time in a long time, which is pretty awesome. And look, while I'm going through, I may as well thank my patrons. Every single one of those first 3, obviously not Biggles, but the first 3 are also patrons. So there's Daniel James, Lethal Lightning, Open Airlock Policy, thank you. Lady Tariel, Steph, My Nerdy Home, Riff Magos, and Scimitar again, of course. So thank all of you very, very much for that. Now, there is one more. Actually, let me say hello to the chat first, actually. We had Jeremy Swiggs 13 hours ago say, 13 hours? So thank you. Poggers. Now, I've seen poggers being used like as a good thing. I mean, as a bad thing. Like, no, it's got to be used as a good thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Riff, hello, Riff. We've got the Sentinel in the chat. We've got Subhuman. Man, my screen is blurry as fuck. We got Biggles, of course. We got Subhuman. We also have Cell Shade. Hello, everyone. E.K. Thompson. We've got OG Star Wars. We got Becky. We got Rennie A. Thank you, Rennie. Anyone else? No, that's pretty much it. We're all caught up in the regards to the chat. All right. Before we do get right into this, I do have to do one more thing. I received this in the mail actually today. It arrived yesterday, but I had to go and collect it from the post office. So I received this from Lethal, and he said that I had to open it on stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what this is. I have no idea. I haven't opened it yet, but we're going to do it together. We're going to open it up. Let's hope it's not some fucking butt plug or something. All right.
YouTube channel deleted in 5.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
3.
I should have actually probably at least cut the edges, but I wanted to show you guys that I actually hadn't opened it yet. Like, there's nothing.
It's a big plaque featuring the gamer word that you tend to say on Lethal's channel.
I was so disappointed with myself last night.
You're right.
What the fuck? All right, let's.
Don't cut yourself.
Lethal, did you tape this up? Here we go. Here we go. Imagine I cut through my cord.
It's going to be some vodka or something.
Yeah, he's not very good with the knife technique, cutting towards himself.
Oh, no.
Looks like a Funko Pop. Is that what it is? It is a Funko Pop. Who is it? Who is it, damn it?
Hold on.
Or it's Amiga. Do they have one yet? Yeah!
Wow.
Amiga.
Fuck you! Can we burn it?
That's what it's for.
It's
it's
a
gotta
gift.
be.
You don't burn it. It's a gift.
Oh, Lethal, you got to give me permission to blow it up.
At your
Man,
next
my
milestone.
first ever
2,000
Funko
subscribers.
Pop, everyone. My first ever Funko Pop, and he gets me fucking Omega.
2,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Burn it up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to say. Thank you. Oh wow, dude. Well, I appreciate the gift. I appreciate the thought that you really want to.
You need to make that into a necklace and wear it anytime you're on stream.
We'll put it front and
It's
center
just hanging there.
on the display. Like, what do you reckon, Charles? He just wants the box. Watch.
Charles, I know cats
Go
are
get
like,
it.
I fits, I sits, but Charles, you're not fitting in that thing. Nope. Nobody.
All he wants is the box. Hang on, I better not do that because there's paper in there and you'll start fucking chewing on that or something. But thank you, Lethal, for that. I appreciate it. I think I'll let you know. Honestly,
He'll let you know after he wakes up in the morning.
Okay, you can get Rekka, Crosshair, Tech, Hunter, and Echo, obviously. There, you got the other 5 on the back there. And the one he gets me is Omega. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Come on.
Do I unbox it or do I, will it be worth a lot of money? Do you
Well, how do you sleep with it if you
Omega
don't
will
unbox it? Come on.
Do you reckon Omega will become a big enough character that having her Funko mint in the box would be worth something?
Well, it's a little girl character created by Dave Filoni, so she's going to be in everything Star Wars for the next 30 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. I got to put it somewhere where,
keep it in the box.
That's what
The
she
new,
said.
the remade classic trilogy is going to be about Omega and Leia's role. Who's going to be in Luke's role? It'll be the boy. What's the boy's name?
In
What?
From Rebels. I can't even
Oh,
think of his
Ezra.
fucking-
Oh, Ezra.
Yeah.
Madden.
Mhm.
Thanks for that. And well, look, we're going to talk a lot about, well, not a lot, but we're going to talk a bit about Bad Batch tonight. And the last episode was just, I can
Bad.
see why, I understand why my review is dropping views because obviously the ratings are dropping. So why wouldn't my reviews drop? People are just not interested in this stuff.
No, I'm picking up zero buzz from even the
Right.
really diehard Star Wars apologist shill people.
Yeah.
And not just the shills. So there's the apologists and then there's the shills. You got the shills who want the access, and then you have the apologists who are just so desperate because so much of their identity is tied to liking Star Wars that they have to come up with like reasons and excuses to to like it, because it would upset their core identity if they just said, well, this Star Wars sucks now.
Well, hey, Greg.
Oh yeah,
That's a good theory you have. Never mind.
I see everyone in the chat laughing.
I'm sorry. It's like 10:28 for me right now, so I'm kind of like.
I got it.
Oh,
That's all right. That's all right. All right. Thank you, Lethal Lightning, for that horrible gift. Let's move on from that, and we'll get into one of our first topics, which actually we'll talk about that Matt Martin thing first, Tim. Bring that up if you can, please. Should have told you. Should have given you a heads up.
Last week's episode. Last week's episode. I'm looking at Wikipedia. I don't know if the one you just mentioned is the one that comes out after midnight here in the States, but the one from last week, Common Ground. Someone on Wikipedia has like the episode entry, and they have one of the sections named Babysitting Omega.
Oh, well, it pretty much is. And she, we'll get into it, but she is incredibly talented. Let's just,
All right, so what did you want me to pull something up? Sorry.
Yes.
Matt Martin's tweets.
Matt Martin's tweets. Leave the lightning for $2. Says, blow up the Funko. Absolutely. Fucking literally. If you give me permission, that's boom. That'll be fucking gone.
Yeah, everyone's like, no, you can't do it. It's like,
oh my God, you're going to reach.
People don't give a fuck.
You're going to reach Ethan Van Sciver like level of panic, because remember when he cut up the Rose Tico toys,
yeah.
and, like, everybody was just like, that's a threat. They were just all beside themselves because he cut up a fucking toy.
Well, no,
300 copies of.
No one said anything when I blew up Ray. No one said anything when I blew up Phasma, but Phasma didn't. Nothing happened to Phasma.
well,
But nobody said anything when the movies themselves blew up Phasma. Nobody cares.
no, but then again, like what? Those were yours, weren't they?
Lethal Lightning bought me that. I just unboxed it a few minutes ago. So if you want to go back and see my reaction, you can go back and have a look. But yes, Lethal Lightning bought me a fucking Omega Funko Pop. I fucking hate Funko Pops and I hate Omega. Like, what the fuck?
I don't like Funko Pops either.
I think they're stupid. I get you're collecting something that isn't even like, it's barely a resemblance to whatever character that they're doing.
And they just look so childish. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I just don't like them. Sorry.
All right, let's. You've shared this. Beautiful. All right, what do we got here, Tim?
All right, so I found this. I think after I got home from work is when I think I first saw this. So everyone knows who Matt Martin is. Mm-hmm. He's one of the bitches that are on the Lucasfilm story group that don't do anything. This is the guy that has been seen photographed with his significant other, who has like a blue bob cut, literally bright blue, wearing pog. What are those things called? Poggers? What the hell? What are those things called?
I don't know. Like what? Like those hats?
No, those little animals that Chewbacca barbecued.
Porgs.
Porgs. Sorry.
Porgs.
Yeah, so wearing porg socks,
Porgs.
And he's a major cuck and everything else. So he makes this tweet: "This novel is unlike any Star Wars novel to come before it. Can't wait for everyone to check it out. Go watch some old blah 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 films to prepare." Maybe Lethal or Mark could pronounce that for us. I can try it. It's Jidaigeki. Jidaigeki. Right here.
I'd have to look at. I can't see the tweet from this screen, so I have to go back onto Twitter.
Yeah, Jidaigeki. Jidaigeki. I assume that's how you pronounce it in Japanese, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah, I think it's like Jidaigeki, because AI is like eyes together, so
right.
It's an I pronunciation.
In any event,
so.
Yeah, that's enough. That's a big enough softball that you could, and people even went after him saying that. But then this person who I've seen around, I don't know if they follow me. I'm not logged into my account here, But are there plans to reintroduce the Infinities label? And for anyone who doesn't know what that was, it was kind of like an Elseworlds label that they mainly told in Tales, like Star Wars Tales was like a comic anthology, but sometimes they had a whole series, like the reimagined individual episodes of the classic trilogy, stuff like that. Blah, blah, blah. So then here's what Matt says. Casual fans don't generally give much, though he meant thought, to canon. And then we're off to the races.
Okay. If I don't know if you want to read any more, I actually want to make a point in regards to that.
Yeah, we can read later. Go.
That's a stupid fucking thing to say.
It is.
Because I've made this point before. If like this is obviously about Star Wars. So when George made Star Wars, he was able to create this story that normies could just go and enjoy. Yes, the flashy lights, the lightsabers, the father versus the son, whatever, right? That they could go and just enjoy it. But he was also able to keep lore and canon keep it stable, basically, enough for the hardcore fans to still be able to go and watch it and go, yeah, okay. I like when they dive into it, it's like, yep, okay, that's exactly what it is. I got it. You know.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid thing to say that, well, we're doing it like this because normies, the ones that don't keep this shit alive, if they stop making it, what happens to the normies?
Well, they're just in it because it's trending, but like,
yes.
I don't know if what he's saying is, I mean, it's unwise to say it, but I don't know if it's untrue. I mean,
no.
You take Rise of Skywalker, $1 billion.
It's not untrue.
It's not untrue.
It is true, but the point is these are the people that are creating Star Wars or are deeply involved in Star Wars, and all their mentality is, well, who cares about the hardcore fans? The normies don't care about canon, so we'll just do what we want, and it will get sold.
But Greg, to put it in context, he's saying that in response to someone asking what's the classification or whatever, right? So what he's basically saying there is it's not important enough. What the hell? It's not important enough. Who?
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
I've
got a
mail order bride on the way.
Kong.
Is your mail order bride on the way?
Yeah.
But what he's saying is
they got taken over. It was probably the kid that made your little Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Don't burn it. I worked hard on that.
Steph, yes, I have opened it. You go back. It's near the beginning.
But what they're saying is that it's not, Star Wars is not important enough to where they even have to classify stuff, because to normies, it's not that important. And they're going after this normie crowd that they can shake the keys in front of, right? And attract them that way. But the problem is they're not going to stick around. They're not going to prop up the franchise for 30, 40 years like we did. So it's the context and the implication of what he's saying there. And if we keep reading, that's exactly what he's fucking saying.
This is the guy who also said that canon is what you make of it, pretty much. Canon doesn't.
Yeah, he said
what's in your own head canon.
Yeah.
No, he literally said this. He said it's all fake anyway in those words. That's a person that's in charge of the continuity.
No shit, it's all fucking fake. No fucking shit. It doesn't mean that you can just fucking destroy the rules around that fake universe. It's so fucking stupid. How does that even like?
Yeah, it does. Though it does. They've gotten away with it. They're going to continue to get away with it.
Oh yeah, fucking oath they have. Luke Skywalker.
Bingo.
Well,
I mean, he's basically saying what we already knew, is that they we've known for God how long that they absolutely do not give a shit about the canon, because they've never even pretended to.
Yeah.
No,
Dave
and like
Filoni's probably the closest that we've ever got to pretending to.
And they basically target the normies as well as the people that only care about emotional payoffs. So all you got to do is insert CGI Luke or Darth Vader somewhere.
Well, and Ryno and I were talking. Yeah, you're exactly right. Ryno and I were talking in the back, and we've talked about this before. And I think I've even put in a couple of videos that, great, you have to cater to the normies to a certain extent. Not cater to them, but you have to give them something, right? But that doesn't mean that it's mutually exclusive with catering to them and catering to us. You can cater to us and cater to them, because to them it doesn't make a difference. So why not cater to us? It's because they have an ideology, they have an agenda. That's why they don't cater to us.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying like, hey, they need to make a movie explaining how the hyperdrive works on the Millennium Falcon. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of Star Wars diehard fans that would be thrilled to find that kind of, the kind of people who buy the technical manuals and stuff like that would love it. That'd be something cool. But like, nobody's saying make a movie about that. Like,
right.
They're just not. And I think what they try and do is like, they create this like false scenario where it's like, it's either that or what we're getting. And it's like, you can go a lot further away from what we're getting now and get closer to nothing without going to that extreme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, they've
never cared and they never will.
One of the points I made in the video, in the documentary one, at the very beginning was this bullshit. I read through that whole announcement from 4/25/14 was the year they did that bullshit with discarding the U. And one of the reasons they had was to preserve surprise in the sequel trilogy, right? At the time. And that's bullshit, because here's the thing. To normies, they would have been surprised no matter what, unless they got wind that, oh, hey, they're going to base it on this. I'm going to go get the book or whatever. But most people wouldn't even look into it that deep. They just know, hey, Star Wars movie coming. And then for us, even if we knew, oh, they're going to adapt whatever, Legacy of the Force or whatever it would be, we wouldn't get mad that we're not surprised, because we're getting to see in live action what we read. So it would have been a win-win. So it's not mutually exclusive to please us and to please the normie audience.
And remember, they used to release the books, the novelizations to movies before the movies came out.
I would read them every time because I wanted to be spoiled. I don't know. I couldn't wait. I wanted to see what was going to happen.
Well, it's different seeing it on the big screen too. So like,
exactly.
A lot of us are just like, well, we can be aware of like the general things that are going on. Without having like the movie then suddenly become boring. I mean, you're talking about a Star Wars fan base that's seen the same movie like 400 times.
Yeah.
Right.
From
so
their
like,
perspective,
by that argument, so like from their perspective is like the fact that we're getting the same, like A New Hope has not changed. Well, I mean, the special editions, but like, I mean, the core of it has not changed. The events of the movie have not changed, and we still like to watch it.
Right.
So, like the spoilers, and same with Empire Strikes Back. Like we know who Vader is. It's still a great moment, and we still enjoy watching it, even knowing ahead of time that what happens. Because Star Wars is one of those movies that really like relies on the same people going to see it multiple times. Yeah, that's where it gets the most
money.
Well, but before I read more of this, like Mara, is someone who's left Star Wars pretty much, like, what do you think about this? Because this is my show and I'm asking the questions.
Yeah.
Well,
Casual airlock.
really not a surprise, because I quote tweeted his one about the canon. And I was like, well, neither does Disney. So it's like, why? Like, it's not even a shock to me that you're actually responding in this way. So, I mean, like, basically, like I said, we're now at a point where it's either they're trying to cater to the normie crowd, who really doesn't care about Star Wars enough anyway. They're basically the ones who bought the Disney Plus service to sit their kids in front of it, and then just like, oh, this is a Star Wars show, let's check this out, basically without getting invested too much into the quote unquote lore, even though there's like really nothing behind that. Or the ones that, like I said, who only really care about an emotional payoff.
Yeah.
So they're the ones where you dangle the nostalgia keys in front of them and say, like, you remember this character? We're plucking this from what we said is no longer canon, but we're going to cherry pick it anyway because we have no creativity whatsoever to come up with our own characters, our own storylines.
Yeah.
The other thing that I look at with this, though, too, is do you guys honestly really think, and I'm talking very broadly here, everyone in the chat, do you guys honestly really think that anything over there at Lucasfilm has changed? Like, if he can still come out and say what he's saying, like, if that's still the mentality, do you really think that anything has changed. And let me go even further. If, let's say, Kathleen Kennedy does end up leaving at the end of her contract, does anything fucking change? This is the mentality at Lucasfilm. This is the mentality that they've got in their heads.
And it's the mentality at Disney.
It's the mentality. You're fucking right. Because you look at some of the things that they're doing
Fortune
with
500.
You look at the things that they're doing with Marvel. You look at the things that they're doing with their Disney, princess remakes. You look at everything that they're actually doing. And do you honestly think that removing one person or do you honestly think that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have changed the ways that, I thought that there was a thing. There was a rumor, apparently, one of the many rumors out there, right, that was saying that all the employees at Lucasfilm have been given a stern talking to or something, and they're not allowed to fight against the fans or something like that. What? Excuse me? Excuse me. Who's right and who's wrong? I didn't really know that fucking, we say one thing, but then blatantly see the other thing and still believe the first thing. Like, fucking stupid. Roger H for $2. Thank you for the thumbs up. Sorry.
Well, also think of it like this: like, one, she's not going to leave unless it's of her own accord. Pretty much, it's just like it's not just because her contract is going to be over. I was on a stream, Ryan's stream, and he had on Matthew Kadish as well. And according to what we talked about, she has in her contract that it'll automatically renew after so many years, unless she decides she wants to leave. Now, this is a woman that pretty much is one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. She's running Lucasfilm. Arguably, it's under the Disney umbrella, but she's running Lucasfilm. And how many women can say that they are head of a particular studio? Not many. So she's going to keep that position for as long as she wants. Like, people were like, well, she's old. She's retirement age. Well, fucking hell, I had teachers that were retirement age as well, and they kept teaching into their 70s. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't automatically stop working because you hit retirement age. It all depends on when you decide that you are going to officially retire. Secondly,
it's not like she's working a construction job. I mean, it's a desk job that's pretty cushy. You can work those pretty late into your life if you so desire.
Yeah, and
George in charge now.
That's what I tell. That's what I tell people. And my second point is that even if she does decide at some point to leave, while she's not exactly going to handpick her successor, she's going to have a say. And do you honestly think that she's going to pick someone that is going to do a 180 from the direction she has set Lucasfilm on? No, she's going to pick someone that
her employees don't seem to think so because they haven't changed it. Like. Is Matt Martin's posture here the posture of somebody who thinks that his boss and his protector is about to get yeeted?
No.
Yeah, and then
wasn't Michelle Rejwan or something supposed to be her replacement?
Who
knows?
Same. Guess what?
Rejwan, like it's all just a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, even those two names that Greg just mentioned. If it is one of those two, same shit, different smell.
Yeah.
Wait, what two? Sorry.
If it's Kevin Feige that takes over or Michelle Rejwan, right? It's the same shit, different smell.
Yeah, well, Kevin Feige's running Marvel, so I doubt I just seriously doubt that he would decide. Like, he'd have to leave Marvel to run Lucasfilm. I don't know if he could exactly run both. Michelle chick, that would be something.
He's smart. He'd bail on them, leave Marvel on a high note, and then he could blame its downfall on its predecessor.
Well, if he were smart,
he's got that same mentality. He's got the same mentality as this.
Yeah, this is Kevin Feige we're talking about. He's not exactly that. I mean, he's smart enough to figure out a formula that brought people in, but he's not smart enough to shut his mouth about where the direction they're taking Phase 4 and 5.
Guys, Kevin Feige came out and said we changed the script of which one was it? Doctor Strange, and we changed what we were going to do in WandaVision because we couldn't have the white straight male come in. He's exactly the same as these other fucktards working at Lucasfilm, working at fucking Disney.
Yeah,
like he doesn't care about the story, he doesn't care about the lore, he doesn't care about the canon. No. All he cares about is the fact that we're being representative. We're being an ally for all these fucking bullshit fucking
4 months out from her contract expiring and like no indication that she's grooming any successor. Come on.
No.
Remember when her contract was supposed to expire last time, but it turns out that it was actually re-signed a year before it fucking before it even expired. I'm quietly confident that that's the case this time too.
It's a great gimmick, right? So what you do, you can keep claiming the sky is falling, the world is going to end, or Kathleen Kennedy's going to leave, and if she does, you get to say, "Oh, you were right the whole time." I mean, never mind like the 9 times you weren't, but you get to say you're right. And then if she stays, then you get to make a bunch of rage videos about how it's so awful that she stays, and Disney's a horrible place, and all these other things. So like, it's basically
win-win.
It's a can't lose situation.
Mm-hmm.
Heads I win, tails you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crafted position, and make no mistake about it. Like, it's not coming from a place of genuine love or interest.
No.
Yeah, Matt Martin is not acting like a person whose boss is going to be somebody who's going to be a more practical and a better leader. Is you look across the board, like Iger himself in his book said that Cannon was a burden. Did he not?
Yeah.
He literally called Cannon a burden.
I thought that was JJ. Or did JJ say something else about it similar?
I'm pretty sure it was Iger said something like, maybe it was his book, or maybe it was like one of his things where he's talking about, like, putting it on hiatus for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's something that's permeated all of Disney and Hollywood in general, not just Lucasfilm. So even if she leaves, guys, like, what they're going to replace her with is not going to be any better. In fact, it might even be worse.
It's Disney. It's owned by Disney.
What
you
needs
need
to happen to
know.
Lucasfilm? Yeah. Disney needs to sell Lucasfilm, which will never happen. And then that would even depend on who they sold it to, because Disney's not the only massive studio corporation, whatever you want to call it, that's woke as fuck, and that it just wants to use what they've got as a platform for allying.
Maybe Ben Shapiro can cough up $400 billion.
Well, not to buy Disney outright. I don't know, what's Disney's market cap at right now.
To buy Lucasfilm right now, man, what would it be worth? It wouldn't be worth the $4 billion.
Oh, I still think you can get $4 billion for it.
Yeah, I think you could. I think all you have to do is point at.
Like, money is extraordinarily cheap currently.
Mm-hmm. I think all you have to do is point at what it sold for, right? And then say, well, hey, it's been a down economy and all this other bullshit. It's still worth, and someone would snatch it up,
But it wasn't
and the
worth
only
$4
reason
billion. It wasn't worth $4 billion when George sold it.
Why? Because of the stock.
It was only worth 3 point something and then he said, no, I want the same deal that Marvel got, and they gave it to him. It wasn't when it was appraised. It was appraised in the $3 billion range, not the $4 bill.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and that appraisal was assuming that they would be able to get the same kind of license deals and merchandise sales and all that other stuff.
Well, this is the other thing too. When you look at it from just a business perspective, right? You've got to see that the toy sales have dropped. You've got to see that the interest in it's not as big or not as hyped as it used to be. How can it still be worth even the same money that it was, even though they've bought out more stuff?
Right. I get what you're saying, but I think that they will say, this is what I want to sell it for. And if I don't get what I want, I'm not going to sell it. I think that's what Disney's, and the only reason they'd sell it is because they needed cash infusion. And I think at this point, I don't think they need it that bad. I think they would sell something else.
Again, I don't think there's any chance of them selling it. I'm just saying, I think the only way of rescue, the only way of savior to Star Wars in any way, shape, or form is for it to be out of Disney's hands.
Yeah.
Then you also have to keep in mind that there's, like, in today's market versus back when they bought it, there's a lot more billionaires who have so much money they don't even know where to invest it. And, like, you could find somebody that would just, it's basically like a sports team, right? Just buy it as just a complete vanity thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people out there that have that kind of money now. That like it could be a Jeff Bezos, it could be which I don't think he has any interest in, or an Elon Musk, or you name it. Any number of the princes in the UAE, they all have enough money to buy it outright from Disney if they wanted to. You know, they'd have to pay a premium, but they could do it.
Yeah. Got a new member, Ryno.
Yeah, thank you. Riff Magos, another one of my patrons, becomes a channel member as well. Thank you so much. Now, there are, of course, the badges that you can probably see against those people's names now. And there's also emojis that you can use. There's only 3 there at the moment. When I get, now I've just hit 5 channel members. So I can now add another emoji. I can actually add 2 more because I had 4 slots. But
did you add the one I sent you?
No, but I will. I'm definitely going to do that one.
I have it on mine, so just so you know.
But yes, thank you everyone, all the channel members. I definitely want to try and give you guys as much content as possible. So I'm actually going to start working on some other things behind the scenes and get those videos out as well. So thank you everyone. Appreciate all of you. You're awesome.
But these tweets, can I just read this part right here? This is a very telling right here. So XXX Voolbarbs, whoever the hell that is, says, bro, why even get into a series if you don't care about the lore or canon? Like, I don't get it. Matt replies, some people just appreciate the surface level storytelling. Getting deep into lore is a bigger commitment. I'm a casual fan of the DCEU or Star Trek or Doctor Who, and I don't particularly care about the deeper lore. I just watch it, enjoy it, and move on. Makes sense to me. But again, what he's saying doesn't make sense because
just consume.
I think here's what I think it is. That's what he's saying. Just consume. But again, going back to the mutually exclusive thing, I think these guys get off on destroying the lore. I think it gives them power. I think it's their philosophy. I think it's this postmodernist tear down what came before. Not just tear down what came before, but don't have any rules, right? There are no rules. There are no standards. We just do whatever we want. And that's the way it is. I think it's all that wrapped into one.
You want to talk about...
You really hit on that, Tim.
Yeah. You want to talk about gatekeeping? What they're doing is gatekeeping because they're the ones that are actually allowed to... They're the ones that are not allowed. They're the ones that are actually creating this stuff, right? And we're sitting there going, no, you're doing it wrong. Like, that's incorrect. And they're standing there going, no, it's not. You fucking... All the normies love it, right? You go fuck yourself. You don't know shit. I'm the one that's in charge. They're the ones that are actually gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Well, like to hit on what Tim said, and this is kind of a plague of the modern world, is we as a society kind of have this notion now, and it's really perverse, that the greater achievement is to destroy rather than create. So like, somebody could come up with some fantastic idea, some brilliant product, some new way of doing things, some breakthrough science, or just a great show, book, or whatever. And they're less. They're treated less than the people that come along and destroy it, because their thinking is like, yeah, you created it, but I can destroy it. I'm bigger than you.
I don't understand. Like, this is where I look at it again from a business perspective. So these people, Bob Iger, whoever, who are in charge of actually employing these people and getting these people in, like, so the people that are actually employing these people are those same personality types where they get off on destroying this stuff.
But they all fail up. They live in a system where they all fail up. They don't care. Like they're collecting their salary. So like this guy, Matt Martin, isn't paid like a residual on the success of Star Wars. He's just paid a salary. He's paid by the job. He doesn't have a stake in the long-term success of the thing. He's just there. If this dies, he'll just move on to something else. And you've seen it all the time where these people just they move from comic book company to comic book company, or movie studio to movie studio, and they just consistently manage to fail upwards. And so from an economic, there's no economic incentive for them. That's removed from the equation. The only thing that's valuable to them, because they're going to collect their salary anyway, is their social justice, social credits, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's the currency that they care about. So they are in a bizarre way acting according to their own economic interests. It's just not money, because that comes easy for them, and they always fail up, and they'll always get a job anyway.
Yeah. Or Newsom will bail them out. Yep.
Or Newsom will bail them out, or they're too big to fail. It's the social currency. That's what they're earning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why.
I don't care.
Sorry, Greg.
That's why they do what they do.
Yep. And here's another problem. Fanboy KC. Can you read that? I'll read it. Well, you specifically mentioned Bad Batch. At Dave Filoni and at Jon Favreau absolutely care. Most of the rest in charge at the moment seem care more about agendas than good storytelling. That concept right there is what makes me rage, because those two guys are the same as the rest.
The narrative's fucked.
It's just you put your blinders on because you like their particular their one thing. Like, so you're a stand for the Clone Wars, so you can't possibly criticize or hold Filoni to account for anything, because you just like what you like.
The sequels. The people thought that with the sequels. You know, I can't not like it. It's Star Wars.
No.
There was a lot of people in denial out there, right?
And by the way, Dave Filoni was involved with the sequels by his own admission.
And to any of the people out there that think that what they're doing now isn't going to connect to the sequels or is going to retcon the sequels in some way, you're dreaming. You are dreaming. Wake up. Like, honestly, open your eyes and look at what's actually happening. Open your eyes. You know, stop being in this false sense of fucking denial, right?
False hope is what it is.
Yeah, false hope.
They think, yeah.
Well, I mean, imagine if they tried. Like, how would you even retcon it? Because they've threaded it so much into everything that they've done. Like, you can't take something like The Mandalorian or Rebels and unspool it from the sequels and then have it still remain, because then it doesn't fit. I mean, it still doesn't fit now, but I mean, you can't just say, well, 7, 8, 9 didn't happen.
Well, I look at
but like a lot of things that did happen before those that they've established in books, the shows like The Mandalorian, shows like Rebels, shows like Resistance, all these things have tie-ins to those sequels. So then what do you go retcon all them?
Well, the only other thing too that I look at though is like a lot of the Bad Batch and a lot of the Mandalorian. There was a lot in regards to cloning and things like that, right? You think that this stuff, they're not trying to explain something using this to explain what they did in the sequels with Snoke and with Palpatine and stuff like that. They're trying to make it work.
Well,
and no matter what they do, they could explain it in one of the best ways possible. And I'm sorry, Palpatine died at the end of fucking the Jedi.
Yeah, just the notion that to retcon the Disney trilogy, the notion that they would use all these storylines from Rebels and Mandalorian instead of just coming out and saying, hey, we made a mistake with the trilogy, we're moving on. The fact that they would use all these shows to retcon something, which they're not, because they've referenced directly the stuff leading up to it. Right. And you know, they had the girl with Ray's haircut or hairstyle, and you know, just the notion that they would use all that screen time to retcon this is bullshit. I'm sorry.
Private chat.
They would just come out and announce and say, we're ignoring it all, we're moving on. But they haven't done that.
Murray, you've been quiet. Have you got anything to say in regards to what we've been talking about? I know that you've got to go, but are you awake? Yeah.
I'm awake. I'm just zoning out. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right.
But I think I pretty much said, you know, it's like, at least like everything that's going on now, even if, like I said, even if Kathleen Kennedy decided on November 1st, they, like, people who keep arguing with me, like, oh, come back to we'll talk on November 1st. So the ones who think that she's gone, I'm like, okay, buddy, we'll talk on November 1st. So even if she decided
it was funny.
that she is going to leave that day,
I can't believe there's people out there doing a victory lap already. I honestly can't believe there's people out there doing a victory lap already.
Nothing is going to change. The damage is done. Star Wars as we know it is dead.
Yeah.
The story group, they're not worried. Matt Martin's not worried he's going to lose his job. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if he were, he would be protecting his accounts to make sure that nothing could be used against him because he wants to make sure that he keeps his job. And the fact that he's saying this tells me that his job is safe. So regardless if it's Kathleen Kennedy or her replacement, it's nothing's going to change. His job is safe. And they're going to continue doing what they're doing. And people who think Kevin Feige could do a better job, well, look what he's doing with the MCU. People are calling it the MCU now because that's what Phase 4 is going to be. They're setting up for the A-Force with Captain Marvel essentially leading the Avengers. So, really, what do you expect him to do any different with Lucasfilm that he hasn't done with Marvel already? You want Star Wars to be Marvel? Fine. More it's dead. Make it Marvel at this point. I don't fucking care, really.
Yep. Burn it down.
Because you saying that is telling me that you don't care either. Because all you want is emotional payoff. All you want to do is for it to feel like Star Wars, not for it to be Star Wars. That is what you're telling me when you say things like that. So that's my final words, pretty much.
Awesome. Great final
But hey,
word.
you mentioned Marvel. You've seen the title screens on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, for Avengers: Age of Ultron, Black Widow.
We're going to go through that. I've got that up. We're going to go through that very soon. But Mara, thank you for coming on. Anything that you want to plug? Let people know where you are, where they can find you.
Okay, well, you can find me on either YouTube, Jade Shadow, that's my name right there, Twitter, OG Mara Jade, or Twitch, Jade_Fire. I am currently playing Resident Evil Village. I just defeated somehow on the first try, even though I completely noobed it the entire time, Moreau. So I thought I set aside 2 hours. I'm it's probably going to take me more than one try to defeat this guy. So I'm going to set aside 2 hours and I get it on the first try. And I'm well, fuck, I don't want to go to the next guy because I want to save that for another stream. So I'm just wandering around the village now.
Nice.
So yeah, I am playing that currently on my PS4. I don't know if I'll stream it or not, but I actually started playing Middle-earth: Shadow of War. I've never played that game before, and I got it for free. It's one of the free monthly games. I started playing it, and this is actually pretty cool. So I might start that over again if people are interested, and I'll play through that as well.
Nice.
And that's about it. The only thing that I would plug would be a Twitch stream I would do on Saturday, late afternoon, to give me time to get stuff done before Talk Nerdy to Us at 10 p.m. with my Nerdy Home. It'll be on my channel this week. So
awesome. Well, everyone, go and subscribe to Mara Jade if you're not, Jade Shadow. And thank you, Mara, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And Soul Assassin, it's Shadow of War, not Mordor. I think that's a different game.
Are they both Lord of the Rings games, or?
I think so, yeah. They're not exactly canon. They don't exactly are what you would consider lore, but they're fun to play because they're set in Middle Earth and they're set around I think this one that I'm playing, Shadow of War, is set around the time before the events of Lord of the Rings. Because they still talk about Sauron as if he still has the they're still fighting his forces.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. War is the sequel. Okay, I'm playing War, not Mordor. So I'm playing the sequel. That's what I'm playing.
It'll be better than the Amazon series.
Oh yeah, most likely. Like I said, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm not far into it, so it'll be not a big deal to start it over again if people want to see me stream it. So instead of watching the Amazon series, which I can do.
Right.
Awesome.
But, yep, that's my channels and social media presence in a nutshell.
Excellent. Everyone, go and subscribe. Go and give us some support. Watch that stream. Talk Nerdy to Us is lots of fun. So, go over and subscribe. Thank you, Mara.
You're welcome. See you later.
Have a good sleep. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Before we continue on, let me just get Mega Jetty for $5 says, like Not My Star Wars says, and great channel, by the way, Not My Star Wars. Go and check him out. He does really, really long streams and just sits there and talks to the chat. It's really, really good. Everything Lucas made is canon. Clone Wars and Ahsoka tell the story of Star Wars now. Started great under Lucas, but destroyed by Disney. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what more can you say? Absolutely, you're absolutely right. It's been destroyed by Disney, and the funny thing is that they keep trying to they keep destroying it, but in the process of continuing to destroy it, they keep trying to explain the things that they've destroyed away through novels, through comics, through you're just a man baby complaining. Like, it's, yeah.
And that hole deeper.
Yep, digging the grave. So, yeah, now, while we're just on that, before we get into some of the Marvel stuff that I want to go into, I just want to talk a little bit about canon and the importance of canon and what canon is to us. So, Tim, I know you've just recently done a massive documentary on it. And guys, again, if you haven't watched this doco, go and watch it. Do yourself a favor and actually watch it. It even opened my eyes to some things. So it's really good. But what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, Laura, if she's still in there, if she could find it and put it in the chat, and then people can bookmark it if they haven't seen it. But I'm sure most people in the chat.
Don't leave the stream. Don't leave the stream. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Bookmark it.
Bookmark it, yes. But what are your thoughts in regards to, and I'm not just talking around Star Wars, I'm talking like just in general, the importance of canon to comic book movies, to these things. What
well, yeah, and people don't even know what it means. They seem to think it just means a continuity, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, it's Disney canon. It's this. Their canon means this is what counts. It doesn't mean that like there's this string, there's this string, there's this string. It means one thing, right?
Yep.
But then when you have like a multiverse, like with comics, there really isn't a Superman canon because the motherfucker changed every decade since 1940. I mean, they literally changed the character, like what he did and didn't do and all that type of stuff. So to me, it's not something that just means, oh, it's it's just this particular timeline, this particular alternate universe. It means this is what counts. And Star Wars is unique. And maybe a little bit Lord of the Rings, but his son went and published some stuff after he was dead that may or may not have been in the format that Tolkien would have done himself. But point is, Star Wars, they decided in the early 90s, no, we're going to have one continuity. They decided that. It's in all the magazines. I have some of the screenshots in the documentary. Stieg will share them once a month on Twitter.
Yeah.
They said, we've decided we're going to have one continuity, right? And that's what they did. Does some stuff not fit? Right. But they retconned that stuff and all that. And then from that point forward, they did their best to try to make it fit in. Well, this guy here, he's telling us they're not even doing that. They don't care anymore.
Can I ask you, do you view like character development and progression of a character as canon? So like, in regards to what they did to Luke Skywalker, the difference between him from the way we saw him to that, is there canon involved in that too?
Yeah.
Of course.
I would say it's like even more important than a planet name being right or a particular, the inscription on on something like is exactly matching what is described in either a book or a previous movie. Like those could be like some continuity things that may be a little bit annoying, but like when it comes to the core essence of a character, that's one of the most important things about canon. And for me, canon is just very simple. Did it matter? Does it matter? Did what has what we've experienced and what we've witnessed matter?
So sorry, go on, finish.
So when I'm watching something, whether it's a comic book or just basically anything, I want to know that, like, the time that I've invested in watching this thing as it continues to expand and expand and expand, I want to know how it interconnects, and I want to feel like what I've seen actually matters. And when you disrupt canon or you don't care about canon, you literally like, why should I watch it anymore if nothing matters? Mm-hmm. If what I've seen in the last movie can just be undone by the next one. So how do you stay invested in the characters? How do you stay invested in the universe? How do you stay invested in the property if literally nothing matters and can just be undone on the whim of the next director or the next writer?
Mm-hmm. So based on that, what breaks canon more out of these two examples? Jumping into hyperspace from atmosphere, or the color of Ahsoka's lightsabers?
Oh, obviously, it's the jumping. It's jumping from atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would
the colors,
fire and
the colors don't really
the story at all.
Right.
You could make them fucking rainbow colored, right? But like,
right. And that would be a continuity error.
And you can fix it.
And while those are annoying, and I think you should do whatever you can if you're producing something to not have those continuity errors. But that's insignificant versus like, this is a fundamental aspect of how this very important integral technology works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to answer your question about Luke earlier, this is Ruin Johnson, a comedy account, and a fantastic one, by the way. But this is very true. So this is Legends Luke, and I think I read this line in one of the Legacy of the Force books. I'm into the fourth book now, and it's fantastic. But he says, I won't give up on Jacen because he's lost his way. Because he started, kind of going to the Sith, even though he was rationalizing it in his mind. I'm not going to be like Vader. I'm going to use the dark side for good, that type of thing. If he has fallen under Lamaya's influence, I'm going to bring him back under mine. And then canon Luke, and I don't like that. It's Disney Luke. When his nephew falls to the dark side, yes, that scene
not even has fallen yet. Has a dream that
has a dream about falling to the dark side.
It pissed me off so.
At this point, he's done nothing to anybody. He's hurt nobody.
Yeah,
made me so mad. But this is a fantastic meme.
It is actually a really good meme.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like to me, canon. I mean, my whole channel's built around, the fact that the laws and continuity and canon has been destroyed by these fucking massive companies. But, it's the one... I will say there is a difference between, let's say, comic book movies and canon within that, because it's so open in regards to, okay, you can tell this iteration of this character, or you can tell this iteration of this character. Right. But when it comes to things like Star Trek and Star Wars and these things that don't have a multiverse, that they stand alone, they're not comic book fucking movies, right? They're these standalone things. The canon needs to move smooth enough for the fact that, like we mentioned near the beginning of the stream, the normies can sit there and watch it and get their enjoyment out of it and see some of the underlying tones. But then when you go to the hardcore fans, they're the ones that can sit there and pick it apart and it still makes sense. It's like Greg said, if you can ask questions about a certain thing and either not even get an answer, or just get told that you're a fucking man baby living in your mum's basement, or the answer just doesn't add up. When you look at something that we've seen before, or some piece of explanation that we've had before, right?
Or it just creates 10,000 more other questions.
It's funny. We don't need an entire movie explaining how hyperspace works and why you can't make a jump from atmosphere, right? But you can get one simple little throwaway line in A New Hope that explains the whole fucking thing in one fucking throwaway line. It's not like Dustin Crops, boy.
Well, but even with the hyperspace thing, from atmosphere or from a gravity well, it's not just Han's line. It's a cornerstone part of many things that have followed, going into Empire Strikes Back, the Escape from Hoth. Like, all these things are kind of established. So you don't ask yourself, like, well, why didn't they just do that before? Mm-hmm. You know that they couldn't do it because they didn't show it before. Like a good example is a Holdo maneuver, right? Like Holdo's the first person in the history of the galaxy where hyperdrive has been a thing for a long time.
Yep.
She's the first one to think of that maneuver.
Yep. And see, in regards to that maneuver, the reason why it was never done before was because I have no doubt that these ships have alerts, warnings, things like that. When you don't put any coordinates in and you're about to fucking jump into hyperspace in a direction towards a fucking ship, I'm sure there's a safety feature on this ship that goes beep, 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 beep. I'm not going to allow you to do this. It's
just more practical than even that. Like, the reason it hasn't been done before is because then it makes space battles stupid. That's why the rules of the galaxy up until that movie came out, that wasn't something that was doable. And the very simple reason, throw science and everything away, is because it makes space battles stupid. Mm-hmm. Like every space battle you see going from then on, it's like, why don't they just do the hyperspace ramming thing? And then all of a sudden, every ship in the Star Wars universe becomes a piloted missile.
Yeah.
Well, that makes every
ship is a fucking planet destroying fucking.
And that makes trying to tell a story in that universe very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. So there was a reason why that wasn't a thing that could be done in the prequel movies or the original trilogy, is because it would literally make it dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that would be it would basically be like, well, I'm going to make a space battle. I'm going to make a space war movie. And these ships are going to have an I win button. And the first one to press the I win button wins the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great movie. What a neat movie.
What a neat movie. What a nice way to put it. I've actually been waiting to see Jock Nerdy in the chat. Sorry, I'm late. He says he sent me a $5 Streamlabs from last night's stream with Lethal. Just as we finished, of course.
As always.
Typical Jock Nerdy. He says the narrative is poggers. So thank you very much for that. Oh, I went to the wrong tab. And look, I haven't played anything. I'll give you guys this one.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off, Disney! You fucking cunt!
There you go.
I feel bad for that lady every time you show that clip.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not even looking at her.
All right, everyone, don't watch him. Everyone, just watch her.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off, Disney! You fucking cunt!
I think she's getting a kick out of it.
Smirking.
Yeah, she's smirking.
She's like,
that's funny. But,
all I can think about is Ryan Johnson sucking my nuts.
All right. And Miss Martin Muses with the 99 cent. I'm guessing it's a rose.
It's a rose.
Thank you very much, Miss Martin Muses. I really appreciate that. All right. Cool. I just wanted to dive into canon a little bit because there was a little bit of discussion going back and forward on Twitter. I did see. I definitely threw my 2 cents in the ring. Just as a normal thread. I didn't jump on anybody else's thread. I just wanted to get my thoughts out there in regards to, specifically what it was is there's still people saying that the EU was never canon. The EU was never canon. Okay, it was never on screen. Go on, Greg.
It's more than Star Wars, though. If you're paying attention, we've seen this line of attack with multiple IPs now. Mm-hmm. And basically the line of attack is basically like canon doesn't matter, story doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
emotional payoffs matter.
It's about the emotional payoff or the emotion that the movie is trying to convey. And the other stuff is just, it's not important. And we've seen over the course of the last couple of years, several people kind of bring up that line of attack, and they keep bringing it up, and they're going to bring it up with the Scarlett Johansson movie that's coming out. They're going to continue to bring this up, and it's not just exclusive to Star Wars. I think it's most egregious, probably. This line of attack is they use it more with Star Wars than anything, At least I think. But that's what they're going for. And basically what they want to do is they want to be able to just throw shit out there that's formulaic or very bland, very corporate-y, and just this popcorn thing. And they don't want to be responsible for it because all that stuff is that's work.
Yeah.
Just consume our stuff. We've worked hard on this stuff, and you guys are worried about stuff that just doesn't matter. And you're gonna see it continue.
Sorry, but Miss Martin Muses makes a really fucking good point. If it was never canon, then how did they decanonize it? How do you decanonize something that was apparently never canon? And
she stole that line from my documentary.
Yeah, we had OG Star Wars. Thank you, Alora, for $5 with a critical hit. Thank you. Yes, we look. The thing is we throw out critical hits all the time. OG, you're one of them that constantly throws out facts to prove that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni aren't doing the right things, or the High Republic isn't fucking good Star Wars, whatever it is, and people choose to ignore it.
Yeah,
it's just ignorant.
Well, they just want to.
Ignorance.
So if they don't like something, then they want to nitpick the things that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say nitpick, but that's a bad word. But like, they're going to be all on board. Oh, yep, Last Jedi was bad. Hold the Maneuver was stupid. All this stuff, Rise of Skywalker. Everything. But as soon as it's something they like, all that stuff doesn't matter anymore. It's just let me like it.
Selective outrage is what.
Yeah, let me like it. Let me have this.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to just please let me have my crumbs.
Yep. But see, can I just take it away from Star Wars for a second? I look at this Loki series, right? Now, there's not many people. I only got 40 views on my review. I couldn't actually believe it, to be honest with you.
Loki?
Oh, my last Loki review. 40 views. Anyway, this series has actually grown on me a little bit. Right, when they first opened it up, I thought that they were doing a hell of a lot of damage. I did think there was going to evolve into this MCU with Lady Loki and all of that sort of thing, right? And it turns out that what we got told before isn't really true. It's a lie within the story, and it fits within the story. And what we're now sort of seeing is it's sort of starting to culminate into something quite interesting. Now, they still need to pay it off. There's still another episode.
With one episode left.
Just
I don't.
Just like WandaVision had a payoff.
Yeah,
but we need to rewatch you talking about WandaVision.
No. Fair enough. I will say I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm just saying that it's grown up. I'm sitting there just watching it now. I'm expecting to be disappointed by it. Let me put it that way. That's my expectation.
With good reason.
Right? Because everything that they've been doing has just ended up in disappointment. It really has. You get on the little hype train that it might have, and then they just burn you, stab you in the back. And they don't honor the source material or the canon that they're taking it from. Right? So I look at Loki just as a character, not the story behind it, just as a character, right? This isn't Loki. What we're seeing in this show actually isn't Loki. Whether or not he sees the fact that he killed his mother, right? Whether or not he's shown things before he's actually done them, right? That should strive him to want to succeed more, being that he tried to do it that way and it failed. It shouldn't be the fact that he starts falling in love with himself. Oh, that makes me sick. But or the fact that he's befriended Mobius, is that his name? Or any of those sorts of things. He could be striving to use Mobius to stab him in the back some way, shape, or form, and he sort of did. But then at the very end of this last episode, it's I don't know. There's parts of it where I'm like, okay, there are redeeming qualities. and all of that sort of thing. But yeah, again, there's
except for this is the Loki,
and then destroying it.
This is the Loki that so he got split off and became a variant, basically from Avengers 1, right?
Correct.
So, just like a few months ago, he like literally killed his brother. He backhanded him with the robot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just broke him and killed him. That guy.
Yep.
To his brother.
Mm-hmm.
But now we got touchy-feely, crybaby, wimpy Loki.
Well, even the kid Loki, because when we'll have to get into it. Let's not dive into it now because I don't want to get into the full-on Loki sort of review or go through it. But we will go through it, and there are some interesting parts, but there are definitely some cringe moments, and there's people out there, just quick before we move on, there's people out there that are saying, oh, this is so MCU. It's all about Lady Loki being like all powerful and all this kind of stuff. I don't really see it. This brings me back to my previous point on previous streams. We're now so hypersensitive to woke culture in our entertainment that when you see something that kind of does fit, but it involves a woman being powerful, it's woke. I don't see that.
It's a combination of two things, though. So it's not just she's powerful, and they keep having to reiterate how great she is, right? Yep. It's that at the same time as knocking our Loki, the Loki we're familiar with, down.
Yeah, no, but that's not what's happening. She needs to basically, at the end of this episode, she needs to do something. And I will say it is a little bit on the nose that she is the key to actually doing what they're about to do. But there's a variant of a Loki that distracts this beast that they need to enchant. She tries to enchant it, and she can't do it. And then her and Loki team up, and he's like, I don't know how to do it. And she goes, well, you're a variant of me. Of course you know how to do it. And they do it together. So yes, she's holding his hand and essentially teaching him how to enhance his powers, but I don't see a problem with that because they're both standing there while that other variant Loki's doing the distraction, and he says, geez, we must be more powerful than we know.
You're thinking it on power level, not character level. So when I say that they're chopping down Loki, it's that they turn him into kind of a blubbering.
Fair enough.
Like he's not the sinister. Like Loki is the best bad guy.
Yeah, he is.
The most interesting bad guy because I'll be honest, Thanos is more powerful, but Thanos is a fucking moron. He's like, I need to get rid of half the population because of overpopulation. Like, instead of just like snapping more food or, making people, infertile or doing any number of other things. He's like, no, this is the only way. I got to kill half the universe. And he comes kind of straight at you and he's very powerful. But Loki is the most interesting, cunning villain in the Marvel universe. And this show doesn't sound like they're making him out to be anything of the kind. They're making out the concept of Loki, but this guy, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, you said it just a few minutes ago, is not the Loki that we know.
Yeah, that's true.
So they didn't nerf his innate power.
Yeah.
But they nerfed his character. And I don't mean like character as in like a role, like his moral character, like what makes him him. They've knocked down to elevate other Loki up. And when you combine those two things, I think that's where people start to see more woke elements than if they just bring in like a powerful female character that's on par with a powerful male character. That's not usually what happens. Like Star Wars, it was you got to knock down Luke and make Rey super powerful, not just have them both be powerful.
And it's not the power level.
Right.
Yeah, look what they did to him. Like the picture we showed earlier, and then leave me alone, go away, and all that garbage. I mean, come on.
Right. They basically had to
milk.
turn him into somebody who abandoned the entire cause, the galaxy to ruin. Abandoned his sister, wanted to kill his nephew, like all these things. It had nothing to do with his actual force powers. Like if you were like his midichlorian counter, his force meter, if you want to like make it into a video game, it had nothing to do with that. They just made him a shitty character. And that's what I like from what I'm hearing people describe. And I'm not watching the show, but like I'm watching a lot of reviews on it. And like that's the Loki. It sounds like he's still powerful. He's just emotionally weak.
Yeah, no, you make a very good point. You're absolutely right, because I did say that this isn't the Loki that makes up Loki, right? Loki is a very complex character, I think. And again, you're not seeing that complexity behind this Loki. So I understand what you're saying. They're nerfing him and his personality traits and the kind of being that he is to essentially elevate this Sylvie character. And I know, I get that.
And it also undercuts Thor a little bit, because like Loki does have the vulnerable side. Like we saw it play out in the MCU 23 movies, right? Where Loki became a little bit more rounded around the edges and at least seemed like he could like he was kind of maybe could turn the corner, right? And be a good man. But it was Thor, his brother, that was able to kind of bring that out of him. And like by just having this chick, he goes on this like little small mini adventure with this chick that's basically a variant of himself, is the one that shows him all this stuff. It undercuts other people's roles in his life, his mom dying and all that stuff.
Yep.
It sells it short, and that's upsetting to people who have like been a fan of the Loki character as he's evolved through the prime MCU movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's another good point. You look at him in regards to the kind of character he was, the kind of villain that he was, and the complexity again behind that character that we saw even in the MCU that they put together. This is essentially a different character. It's not a different character because it's the same character, because he still had all of these things, but instead of him taking the information that he now knows and using that to his advantage, he's now taking that information and going, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. So I won't do that anymore. It's not me anymore." Like,
and see, that's so unbelievable, because it's one thing to be told something and like, well, this is what happens in the future, and you can watch that. Like, even if you accept that it's all true, you're still disconnected from it because you didn't experience it. You weren't there in that moment, feeling the feelings that you felt. Other Loki, who wasn't taken from the timeline, did.
Yeah.
So like even if he's given like a video montage of him kind of becoming less evil, like that wouldn't convert him at all, because why would he even believe it? Like that's like Loki's character at the end of Avengers would never even believe that. He'd think it was a trick and a bullshit ruse and just a trick.
Yeah.
Because he didn't see his mother die, his father die.
Yeah.
Asgard get destroyed. All those things. He didn't see it. He didn't feel it. He was. Well,
he did. He did when Mobius showed him.
What, see it? Okay, see it on screen and then see it in person.
Yeah. No, and
like I saw the planes hit the towers, but I can't tell you what it felt like to be there.
Yeah. Even if you didn't think it was a trick, he would fight against it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the Loki that Well, the Loki that we know or that we should be seeing is kind of more like that than what we actually are seeing. Now, let me just I've got a couple of, let me just refresh this. Got a couple of Streamlabs super chats. Jock Nerdy with $10 says, my imaginary MILF Cougar girlfriend is more real than lightspeed skipping.
Nice.
Thank you for that. Oh, that's funny.
Well, okay, Jock Nerdy, I love you. You're a great supporter and everything, but like, if you're gonna invent a fake girlfriend, why give her a kid?
Or just call her Geeky Cougar or something like
Really?
that.
It'd be my hot younger girlfriend who is tragically infertile. Would be like the dream.
That's funny.
But she doesn't ever believe it, so she always wants to keep trying.
And we've also got Melissa Lord for $2. Thank you, Melissa. Great stream, Ryno. EU has always been canon. F the rat. Fuck the rat. They're so lazy, you'd think they'd want to Benioff and Weiss pull stories. And dialogue from the books.
Oh, shit, I almost spit.
But they're not even that. But they're not even that smart. Sorry, Melissa, I'm kind of butchering this. They just want to destroy Star Wars and put their commie stamp on it. Love ya.
I was reading her other comment in the chat.
What did she write?
You know who Manti Te'o is?
He was that college lineman, right?
Notre Dame, yeah.
Notre Dame that invented his girlfriend.
Yeah, this guy had an imaginary girlfriend. This is like the #1 draft pick projected. And what year was that? Like 2011, maybe?
It was a while ago, but it was like an elaborate thing. Like he tried to convince people. It wasn't like in his own head and his private mind. He's like, "Well, I have a girlfriend," and she's
it was geeky pixie. Except he did it. He wasn't catfished. He did it himself and had all the real life and online friends convinced that he had this girlfriend, but she just never came around. It was kind of like Clark and Lois Lane and Superman type thing. You never really, yeah. And then his stock went down after that came out because he was projected to be the #1 draft pick. So
yeah, and everybody's like, "Well, this guy ain't quite stable." So yeah, maybe pass on him as far as the #1 picks go. He was pulling a Jan.
Mm-hmm.
With the marina boyfriend.
Yeah.
Sure, Jan.
That's great.
I'm gonna play this for you guys.
Melissa with the Mater reference.
Hell yeah! And do some ASMR for you, Lethal. In your honor.
I'm so sorry. He'd be hugging that tree. And then he'd be punching it and slapping it, going, "You took my friend." Kicking it. How dare you?
That would be you, Ryno.
Nah. I'd be there going, "Why? Fuck you, Disney! Why?"
Nice.
All right, we're actually going to watch something that I didn't even put in the title that actually dropped today, so that's why I didn't put it in the title. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Marvel Studios' What If? Now, we heard this announcement back when they announced all these shows and things that they're doing, and they've finally dropped a trailer for it. So we're going to actually have a watch of that. Let me bring this up. Oh, goody, Greg says so enthusiastically. Share screen. Make sure I share audio. All right. Let's watch this, shall we? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sure.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace.
Is that Tony Stark?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Not very well drawn.
Do we know each other?
Time.
They're going to use this as like different multiverses. What if this happened? This was like, and then you know what will happen is the TVA will show up and just reset all these timelines. I just want to quickly get this $5 from Riff Magos. In the words of Critical Drinker, I don't know if I can do that. Fuck off, mouse. No, that's not right. Can
Fuck
anyone
off,
do it?
mouse.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much, Riff. You're a legend. You're a fucking legend.
Reality. It's changeable.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
This is going to be the multiverse.
That's the question, isn't it? Every universe is different. Each one unique.
ooh, Howard.
Is that Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand. Not me. I get it.
Who are you?
Oh,
Who's Captain Carter?
oh, that means shit in German.
I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere. I guess I have to freestyle then. Hey! We have you outnumbered. A Ravager never flies solo. I said never flies solo.
Is that some kind of catchphrase?
You had me worried for a second. Journey to face the unknown and ponder the question.
So, I might even have a couple of issues of What If from back in the old days.
Hang on. There's one more little bit. Sorry.
Okay.
What if?
Oh, it was a Watcher or whatever.
So what was that? Omamu or whatever the fuck his name is?
I think so. But here's the thing. I think I even have some of the issues. I don't remember them ever explaining, like, hey, you know, like, here's how we're telling. They just told stories that were what if. They didn't have to explain them. Like, we're able to do this because of the world in between worlds or whatever the hell. They just told stories, you know, and why couldn't they do that? Why couldn't they just have this fun show that tells stories of what if? But no, they have to explain it. And to your point, don't doubt that they'll try to find a way to tie this into all the movies and TV shows that have come before and try to change some stuff. It's very subversive.
Well, yeah, because now if you take... What ifs are a fine concept. Like in almost any IP. Like a what if could be just an entertaining, like a one-off. What if this went this way? And instead of the way it did, and how would that change things? And, you know, you could tell an interesting story, but then it doesn't really matter to the canon. But to actually pitch it as like this is an actual universe in the multiverse, yeah, that gives them license to just swap them out.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, so this Captain America Carter chick, I'll just swap her out.
Yep.
Have her go from this multiverse to the main prime, whatever you want to call it. And it's the dangers, and it's the ultimate laziness that is to come from all this push about multiverse shit. Instead of just saying, like, we're going to just tell a cool one-off, like, what if it went this way story, they're going to use this as like a testing ground to
remember Barry's
things.
Yeah.
Well, and then they're going to say, well, you know, hey, it's canon because it was in this multiverse. So, like,
Yeah,
but they're
we did it.
interchanging
We
so
did it
much.
a year ago, so it's comic book accurate.
We'll see now. Star-Lord is Black Panther. Like
I don't know.
Like I don't know. There. I mean, again, it's sort of like you said, a what if story can be kind of, a bit of fun just to watch and all this kind of stuff, but they can't. I don't know. It really depends. It's kind of like with what was it? Visions, Star Wars Visions. I don't know if that's supposed to be part of the canon or not. Like, are you telling a story that fits within the stories that you're trying to tell?
I don't think it's officially supposed to be, but that's a contradiction to what they said when they said everything was going to be canon.
Yeah, exactly.
These what ifs shouldn't be. I mean, I guess I'm fine with them being on Disney Plus, but you know what they should air? They should be like 15, 20-minute cartoons that air, and you just cut out one of the commercials before a movie starts and play one of these what ifs, and then like remember how they used to do short cartoons before a movie?
The Pixar ones.
Well, it was a Disney thing. That's where like Mickey Mouse were shorts before movies.
Yeah.
That would be where I'd place one of these things. Be like, oh, we're going to do this what if. So we're going to do this. All right, we're going to do Black Panther as one of the Guardians of the Galaxies. I'm going to air this 15, 20-minute thing before the movie starts for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Just as kind of like an interesting like little thing. And it's going to cost you. You're not going to be able to play maybe as many trailers, but like honestly, I think trailers tend to get people less likely to watch a movie than more likely.
Pink Panther shorts. Yep.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, if this is something that they're going to try and tie into the Doctor Strange, like Multiverse of Madness, yeah.
It would just be nice to just say that, like, no, this is not multiverse. This is just purely a fictional what if story.
Yeah. But they're not going to do that because they've already started out in this trailer explaining, like,
right? Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. That's dumb. They never did that in the comics. It was just, hey, we're telling fun. And then there was another one called What the? Like, really off the wall shit.
See, now this tells me is like, you hey, if you're interested in Loki, the Loki and you liked the what's her name? WandaVision show? Well, too bad, because we're gonna undo it in a one if.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like, literally nothing fucking matters. It's just going to be this just gobbledygook of shit. And it basically what they're almost trying to do is undo the cinematic universe and like spawn everything kind of back into their own individual corners, which I think they should do anyway, because the team up movies can only go so far, because whenever you do them, they have to be like these. You have to keep ramping up the villain and then ramping up the superhero and ramping up the villain and then ramping up the supervillain. And it just gets kind of tiresome at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I've hit that point already in both, Marvel and DC. But I think basically you can't try and tie it into what's already existing. It's almost like if you're going to do it, you gotta just say we're starting over.
Yeah. What if Disney didn't buy fucking everything? Well, I thought, look, just on the surface, I thought that was interesting. I thought, this is where it gets confusing, because is it going to be something that they're going to play off, or is this just supposed to be these short stories that they just want to show what ifs? And I'm fine with that. Like, if you want to,
that's what it was supposed to be originally.
Yeah.
Now I got a bad feeling.
Yeah. Oh, especially with what we're seeing with the timekeepers in Loki, especially with the changes that we've heard to the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2. It's very, very...
Well, what is multiverse other than literally canon doesn't matter?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate, like... That's the ultimate canon doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's unimportant. Well, we'll just call it a multiverse. multiverse here, multiverse there. DC is going to do it. Marvel's going to do it. And then, rumors are that Star Wars is going to do it. Like, yeah. Let's have an Indiana Jones multiverse. Let's do that. Let's do it.
Oh, man.
We kind of already have a Star Trek multiverse. I mean, it's just, well, I mean, it's 3. So, it's 4 because you have the Prime timeline and then the mirror universe tied to the Prime timeline. And then you got the Kelvin universe and then the mirror Kelvin universe. So you got 4 continuities in Star Trek going.
Yeah, it's a shit show across the board. I don't watch anything new. There's nothing new, maybe other than Cobra Kai, and I'm very worried about that, by the way.
The one thing that I'm most looking forward to next is Top Gun. I'm not looking forward to anything other than Top Gun. I just want to see Top Gun. And the reason why
I'd be worried.
Ghostbusters.
No, I'm not even excited for that. Because of 2016. Like, I know that this is supposed to be completely different and all of that, and they're supposed to now be honoring and blah, 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 but I just don't trust anything at the moment. I don't trust any studios with any of these properties, with any of these things. The only reason why I think that Top Gun will be good is because Tom Cruise will, he wants to just do the movie like the way it's probably supposed to be done, and I think he'd have more control than most when it comes to being on set. I want to, speaking of shit shows, I want to quickly go into this article, that Burning on a Comics one, Tim.
Okay. I think I have it pulled up. Sorry.
On Black Widow. I put in the private chat. On Black Widow.
I have it pulled up.
Now, this movie's released. It's out. It's out in theaters. I think you can get Disney Premium or something or other. And you can watch it. Let me know in the chat if you've seen it. I'm pretty sure neither of you guys have seen it, have you? No.
Never will.
No.
Seen what? Black Widow?
Black Widow.
No, I quit MCU after Endgame.
I haven't seen it either. But before we do actually get into the actual article, I want to show you guys something.
Okay.
So you can bring it up. You can share your screen, and I'll just grab it when I'm done here.
Grab it when you're done there.
Okay. So I jumped on the Disney Plus to find to bring up the Loki stuff and the Bad Batch stuff, and I noticed this. So you've got Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, Age of Ultron, Winter Soldier, Avengers, Iron Man 2, the Black Widow collection.
That looks terrible right there.
What? Normally, you've got all their new releases and stuff up here. Like everything that's just dropped, like the new episode of Loki will be up here, the new episode of Bad Batch will be up here, and all this kind of stuff. Now, I understand that they're trying to promote this movie on Disney Plus, but you just make that the first screen, right? To go and get your premium access or whatever it is to watch the movie that they're releasing. But to do this, and again, like I'm saying, of course they want to promote it. They want to know. They want people out there to know that this Black Widow movie is out there, and they can watch it on Disney Plus, or they can go to the theater and watch it, whatever. But we're going to read this Banning in a Comics article, and it just, for me, it goes to show that this is just a planned female empowerment. Look, she was in all these superhero movies, and look, she was so hypersexualized in all these fucking pictures. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, has anyone checked social media? Well, she doesn't have social media, but has anyone checked to see if this has appeased her yet? That's my question. Damn, I love her in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I reckon she's the hottest there. I mean, too.
That right there looks terrible. She looks like that girl from Solo, a Star Wars movie. Without the freckles.
Oh, no, that's yeah,
I don't know their names.
Anyway, let's go through this. So we'll have a quick chat about this, and then we'll continue on with some other stuff.
All right, so
Go for it.
Black Widow star Scarlett Johansson claims women are undermined. Undermined. Is that a typo? Underserved, underappreciated, and underpaid. I don't know if they meant to say undermined there, but John F. Trent, Black Widow star and the highest paid actress in the world for the past 2 years, Scarlett Johansson recently claimed women are undermined. Yeah, that's what he did there. We'll have to shoot him an email and tell him to fix that. Underserved, underappreciated, and underpaid. Johansson's comments came in an interview alongside her Black Widow co-star Florence Pugh while speaking with Glamour magazine. The duo were asked by Glamour's Josh Smith how they have been their own allies. How they have been their own allies in their own lives. What? Pugh answered first by saying, in my own life, when I have been my own ally? She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, too? That's a big question. I don't know. Isn't that sad? You got first, Scarlett. I need to do some deep thinking. Or you got first, Scarlett. He needed a comment there. Johansson then provided her answer. As a woman, you have to be your own ally all the time because we are undermined. Maybe that's how she pronounced it. Underserved and underappreciated and underpaid. You have to be your own ally. My mom instilled in me when I was really, really young because, of course, she'd experienced it even more severely than I did. Go, Greg. I mean, this is just...
I'll wait. We'll wait till we get a little bit further because there's basically this is just this idea that like men like okay, Hollywood's a cutthroat business. Like if you're not your own ally in your own life, then you're a fucking retard.
Yeah.
Like advocate for yourself. Like of course, like this idea that like men have had it just easy and they've just been handed money in Hollywood without having to like work their way up and do the legwork and everything. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. Like, I'm just not. Like this idea that guys have just like the guys in the MCU. Let's just take MCU for example. Like they didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to earn their way up and underpaid. Like fucking like Hemsworth got like $500K for his first Thor movie. Like fucking Brie Larson got $5 million for her first Captain Marvel appearance.
Well, and just this last fucking line here. Like, how old is she? Is she our age or is
she's in her 30s? She's
okay. So her fucking mom grew up, in the late 50s, early 60s, right? So no shit that she experienced it more severely. That was like during the post-civil rights era and all that type of stuff. You watch Mad Men and you kind of see how it was in the workplace for women. Well, no fucking kidding. Johansson then added, equal pay is a huge part of that fight. Even when I was a teenager in the industry, or a young woman, I should say, oh brother, my mom would have would have those conversations like, why is she not getting paid the same? She went on to claim it never had anything to do. It never had anything to. This is the weirdest.
It's a really bad article.
There was always these little key terms like bankability and box office draw. Those are all the terms that are basically masquerading as sexism. It never had anything to do with those things. And if there ever was, it was always part of this systemic issue that a woman could not be as bankable or have a box office draw.
Bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
Major bullshit. And you know what?
I think there's Julia Roberts from the 1990s would beg to differ.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And then in the 90s, the other brunette broad, what's her name? That was in fucking everything.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Is that the right one?
Yeah, the one that was in the Bus That Won't Stop Me.
Yeah, Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Speed.
She was majorly bankable.
Yeah, there was a
people.
number of bankable stars.
I would argue that was Keanu Reeves, like who got the box office draw in regards to that, or like
I'm going to say it was Dennis Hopper.
Hey, she was the star of the second one on the boat. So
if you say if you say Terminator, people don't think of Sarah Connor. People think of Arnie, right? Like, it's just I don't know, but I see this as okay. And who was it? What's her name? That UFC fighter chick used to be really. No. Used to be really good. Won the title.
Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. She got asked by an Australian reporter when she was in Australia, what it's like being a woman and being paid less and the pay gap and all this kind of stuff. And she goes, "Well, I see it as if I'm bringing in the bucks, well then pay me the money. But if I'm not being not these words, but if I'm not bringing in the bucks, well then I get paid what I'm worth."
Right. It's like the soccer. It's like the soccer chicks complaining that they don't make as much as the men, right? And it's like, yeah, the soccer, like nobody in the world gives a shit about women's soccer, like other than the players who play it.
No shit.
And their immediate family members. I mean, just speaking of like their actual numbers, like they literally don't draw. That's why they don't make the same amount of money.
Yeah. Well,
but this idea is that like, okay, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, right? The big box office draws that were dudes, right? What kind of movies were they in that got them that kind of draw?
Blockbusters.
Blockbuster action movies, right?
Yeah.
And they had to be like roided out freaks at the time. There was like almost all with very few exceptions. Maybe Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Wasn't ever like a meathead. But
and
Sylvester Stallone
and Mel Gibson.
Yeah. But like he had to earn his way up in there. Like he just didn't walk into Hollywood and start, making monster dollars. Like he had to earn his way up, like Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon 2 and he grew his success over time to be that bankable star. Because people are like, I want to see a Mel Gibson movie because all the movies I've seen with him, I like him in those movies. Scarlett Johansson in the MCU movies that she's in that are popular, she's not the lead.
No.
It's an ensemble cast for the most part with a couple leads, and she ain't one of them.
Yeah. But see, this is where I see a vast difference in regards to the way the narrative's going to be formed in regards to it coming out now as opposed to when this movie probably should have come out. So right now, it's being promoted as, all you men, you're pretty much going to be sitting there cringing in your seats when we talk about periods and shit. Yeah. I don't know. I've heard things where it's not as bad as what it's being promoted to be. So, okay. But I am hearing, again, there's no stakes in this. There's nothing. It's like it should have come out back then. Now, in regards to the box office draw that this movie has now, right, I don't see it making a lot of money. Right. First of all, because of COVID. But second of all, there's a lot of people.
That'll be the excuse.
Yeah, but that'll be half the excuse. The other excuse will be it's because all the sexist men didn't go and watch it. Right. So that'll be the other narrative.
Well, yeah.
If this movie had have come out back, let's say after Avengers 1, right? Let's say it was the very first movie of Phase 2, right? When it probably should have come out, it probably wouldn't be. The script probably wouldn't be what it is now, right? Because back then, this fucking thing wasn't a massive thing, right? So that movie would have probably been one of their very first $1 billion hits for the MCU. Because they didn't make their first billion until the Phase 2, wasn't it? Or was
Avengers 1.
Avengers 1 was the
first Avengers
billion,
movie.
That's right.
Yeah, you got to remember, Iron Man, for all of its success and everything, was like a $300-400 million movie.
And if Captain Marvel can make $1 billion in between these two massive hits that people thought that this was a thing, and they're just starting to make the $1 billion around Avengers, and then this movie comes out next, are you telling me that people wouldn't go and see it because it's a woman lead?
Well, here's what I would have done.
No,
here's what I would have. Here's what I would have done, and this really didn't have to be that hard. But so her character died not in Infinity War; she died in Endgame, correct?
Correct.
When they had to go back in time and get the stones.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So in between Infinity War and Endgame, they could have done, rather than a weird prequel with they could have done like what they should have done is a Scarlett Johansson Black Widow, where she's trying to reach out to what's his name to try and kind of turn him back from the dark path he's taken. You could have done a dark, gritty spy thriller style movie.
You mean Hawkeye?
But what?
Between her,
when he turned into Ronan, when he went to Ronan. But then
have her basically, but have Ronan barely be in it, but she's like on the pursuit. And then you could have done some flashback scenes to like flesh out like where her character's origins are and everything. But in general, origin stories when it comes to superheroes have to do with how they got their powers.
Yeah.
Not how they grew up. And she doesn't have powers. So like,
but
it's
this
just
is the
not
thing.
as
I
compelling to go back.
understand what they wanted to do. They wanted to, because every other character gets a origin story. So if you want to talk in the realms of
really, no, they don't.
Who hasn't had an origin story?
Hawkeye.
Okay. Anyone else?
Wanda. Vision.
Vision, you could say Age of Ultron, because essentially it's.
Well, I guess he was born in that one, but Wanda, no.
My point is that I understand what they wanted to show.
Samuel Jackson's character.
Yeah, okay.
Nick Fury, yeah.
But okay. So they haven't done all of them, but even still, all right. I understand why they wanted to do an origin story, but to tell an origin story after the character's dead in the universe that you're trying to tell. Now, this is the thing. Now that the MCU is completely open, this is where they're going to try and make her relevant again or something like that, I feel. But anyway, I still think that there's a vast difference in regards to the way that this movie is going to be received now in comparison to the way that this movie probably would have been received if it had come out when it should have come out. Now, I think your idea, Greg, is actually a really good one in regards to telling a story in between then about her basically trying to...
Well, it would have actually tied the movies together.
And then it would have, and it would have actually probably made that scene in Endgame even more powerful when they're fighting for who's going to sacrifice themselves, right? Because it's showing how much he means to her, right? It would have been that's a great story. That is a great story to tell, and a great time to tell it too, right? But again, this story is being promoted as it's kind of like with what was the one that Ewan McGregor was in? Anyway, him coming out and saying, this is going to deal with the misogynistic bullshit. Birds of Prey, wasn't it? Or something like that.
Yeah.
The way that these movies are promoted, you're not doing the movie any favors. Yeah, you're going to get those fucking fucktard activists on Twitter go and see it just purely for the fact that you've said that this is going to deal with that, right? But that ain't going to sell out.
Well, they're going to go see it to like somehow stick it to us or something.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately what you're getting at right there is exactly why they're going this route. And it's why they did it with Bird of Prey. Because I think their own internal estimates, and trust me, they do these for every one of the movies that come out. They are absolutely like drilled into like what they think the opening box office is going to be. I think they looked at it. They looked at the product. They looked at the gap. They looked at the general lack of interest, the lack of buzz for this movie because it had so many false starts as far as when it was coming out. Mm-hmm. I think they looked at those numbers and said, like, ooh, this one, it's not going to do well on its own. Like the normies that we've been counting on and the diehards, they're just not that enthused on this one. So we need to gin up. We need to pick another part of the we need to pick a different coalition to come kind of rally and white knight for this movie because this other audience isn't going to bring it in for us.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and they think that the other audience that are going to come anyway, and then they're actually adding these Twitter spurgs to that number, and I like.
Well, that's
Bird
not
of
what's
Prey
happening.
and everything else.
They're actually pushing those people away. This movie's not for you.
Exactly.
Why are you seeing this movie?
This movie is for the activists. They've blatantly pretty much said that. Mm-hmm. This movie ain't for you. The fans, the ones that were with the MCU the entire time, this one ain't for you. This one's for the spurgers, the Twitter spurgers, and the fucking the retards on Twitter.
But you know what that means? It means it's for themselves. That's what it really means.
But then it's promoted that way, and then they heavily promote it that way, and then from what I'm hearing, it's again the similar thing to the Ewan McGregor thing. There is that, but it's not that it's not that much of it. Now, it's not to say that any of that should be in there, because any identity politics in our entertainment right now, it should be taboo. It should not even be close to being anywhere near any scripts. Well, they need to be telling the stories that we want to see, the interesting factors behind why these characters are doing that. Now, if those genuine things are a result of something that is happening in the real world today, okay, right? But if that's not and that brings us back to what we were talking about earlier in regards to canon and lore and stuff like this. Well, shit, fucking Scarlett Johansson never had a problem with a lot of guys oogling over her in this beautiful outfit that makes her body look incredible. Is there something wrong with me saying that? Is there something wrong with me saying Scarlett Johansson looks sexy as fuck, and yes, I would love to do things that I'm not going to describe to her. Okay.
Well,
she's fucking sexy.
Here's the part that really gets me about this, and it's the Sybil Shepherd syndrome, right? She was one of the at least the first in my mind to really kind of to pull this game, and that is in their youth they were employed because of their looks. Mm-hmm. Let's be really, really honest. Like she may have developed her acting skills in the time that she first showed up on film. But let's be really honest. Like, she was hired because of her looks. And guys in Hollywood are hired because of their looks. Do you think that Chris Hemsworth or Chris Pratt or Chris, what's his fucking nuts, Captain America?
Evans.
Like, do you think that they were not hired because of their looks? They absolutely fucking were hired because of their looks and their physique. And Julia Roberts, right? It is an industry based on visual appeal, and now that she's got hers, she wants to kind of pull that ladder up behind her to prevent the 25-year-old version of her now from getting the roles that she wants. And that really is what it comes down to. And like I said, Sybil Shepherd does this thing is be like, well, it's so sexist when women get older and they don't look as good as they did when they first came out on the scene and were getting the roles because of their looks. They're getting replaced by younger actresses. Well, guess what, sweetheart? When you were 25, do you think there might have been a 30-year-old person that you displaced?
Yeah.
You may think now that you're the 35-year-old, you have a problem with that. Yeah. But I didn't hear you complaining when you were 25.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the thing too, ScarJo still looks fantastic.
Well, she does. Like, I'm not saying she's an ugly person by any means. But basically, as those roles are not going to be there for her anymore. They're just not going to be. And and the same thing happens to male actors as well. Although male actors, it may take a little bit. Male actors tend to fizzle out really quick, or they go really long. So they're either here and gone very quick. They're like in every single movie for like 3 years, and then they disappear for the rest of their lives.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey had a pretty long-lasting career for a while until basically he kind of took himself out of the game.
Yeah.
But like Colin, what's his name?
Colin.
Is it Farrell?
Colin Farrell.
He was in the phone booth movie. Like, he was in every other fucking movie for 2 years straight. Then disappeared for a long time. Yeah. That's kind of that's the guy's trajectory for career paths. It's like, you're hot 1 minute and then you're done. What's his name? Who played Magic Mike, right?
Yeah, 22 Jump Street. My name's Jeff.
Yeah, right. Like he's still around. It's not like he's not getting any things, but he's not like an A-lister.
Yeah.
He's not a bbig box office draw. Like it's very few and far between become those.
Tatum.
And even Channing, even less so now because stars don't drive people to the box office like they used to. So it's even less now that managed to stay on that steady thing. Just look at like a guy like John Travolta. His career was done for years until Pulp Fiction and Look Who's Talking. And then suddenly he had a resurgence. Yeah. Jack Nicholson, done until Joker.
Yeah.
He played the Joker in '89 Batman. Then he had a resurgence. Hugh Grant, there's a good example. Well, I mean, that might have to do with his thing with hookers. And Christian Slater, the nose candy. But at least allegedly. But this idea that it doesn't happen to guys is just absolutely fucking silly and stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to them all the fucking time.
Yep.
Like Blake's just listing out people.
And to think that like a female lead can't pull a box office draw, like is absolutely ridiculous.
They didn't typically the box office draws, the big ones, were the blockbuster action movies.
Yeah.
Right? And those roles typically weren't for those lean towards men. Because it's just the way it is.
Chick flick. Why the fuck is a chick flick called a chick flick? For fuck's sake. Like
because it appeals it appeals to chicks.
No shit. Like The Devil Wears Prada. I had to go and see that with my girlfriend. And I thought it was a decent movie for what the movie actually is. It's not my thing. I wouldn't sit there and watch it by myself ever.
Right.
Right? But the again, female leads all over the fucking place.
Well, and go ahead.
What did that fucking box office pull? I'm pretty sure that movie did pretty fucking well.
Go ahead, Hollywood.
Bring it back,
pay your female leads $40 million for one.
To bring it back to the article, basically what she's doing here, and feminism comes. It's a branch of Marxism, right? Mm-hmm. So what she's doing here is, what did the disenfranchised, air quotes, disenfranchised do when they don't have theirs? They start playing victim, right? So they can get the safety net, the welfare, whatever you want to call it. So to Greg's point, she, is probably not feeling as pretty because she's getting older, despite the fact that we'd still bang the bejesus out of her, right? But
she's an absolutely gorgeous one.
But point is, she probably doesn't feel that way. So what is she doing? She's setting herself up as the victim here, so that then she can say it's meritocracy. She's all but saying that's really sexism and not actual meritocracy and stuff.
But one of the things that used to be attractive about her was her, I don't know what I'm looking for. Like she didn't care about the woke shit. Like in stuff that we'd seen, in interviews that we've seen. And all this
hold on, because I called it in my stream 3 months ago when all these people were retweeting the headline, like, look what she's saying. And I'm like, did you guys read the interview? She wasn't saying like, hey, Chris Evans and what's the douchebag that played Hulk? What's his name? Mark Ruffalo, the utter human piece of shit. Mm-hmm. She wasn't saying, hey, these are woke people and they should just act and shut up. It was totally taken out of context in the headline. And me and Alora and hell, you guys might have been on there that night. I don't remember. We talked about this is what she's really saying. And it wasn't anything to do with that. The whole article was about her in a fetal position on election night because she thought that Trump was going to win again. So I get what you're saying. She has said some stuff in the past.
Okay.
You're right.
That
makes her stand apart.
As an Australian, when it comes to like the American politics, I look at that, I roll my eyes. You're all fucking retarded idiots. Like it's just so wow. But fucking, I don't know. The things that I've seen her in her interviews and things back in the past when, she's talking about the movie or whatever, it was never really, like, if a question got asked, she just snapped back and that good on you. I don't. That question that she got asked about, does she wear underwear underneath her outfit? Like, okay, I'd be a bit like, whoa, what kind of question is that as well?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact
I would just say I would just say like
your mom's underwear.
Yeah, what a pervy question. But
No
again,
offense
this is
to all
another
your American
this is another thing, and people always bring up that particular response that she gave, or that those questions. The men got asked ridiculous questions as well about their workout routine, about how much they had to lift and how they had to get into the suit, and you know, where's the zipper, like really, like, look, Hollywood press are just a scotch above sports press as far as like.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I thought you were going
as far as like
they're a scooch above like dog shit.
Well, well, dog shit isn't much further behind them. I mean, we're talking like the lowest of the low.
Yeah,
the absolute, like, they don't really do any journalism.
It's sensationalism is what it is.
They're just garbage human beings, and they ask stupid questions, and sometimes and they're asking these things in these junkets, right, where the actor sits down in one room and then they just keep bringing in, oh, it's so and so from ET, oh, it's so and so from another company, it's up, here's the Rolling Stone guy, and the actors themselves don't leave the room. It's the interviewer, and they just sit there and do interviews like the entire fucking day. So when you're asked the same stupid questions every now and then, the actors kind of get a little pissy and snap back. Like, Jesus Christ, you guys are fucking retarded. Mm-hmm. But the guys got asked stuff about their bodies, their costumes, and all sorts of, and some of it was pervy as well. It's not just something that, it's something that's asked of all of these things. Because people legitimately want to know, like, hey, how did you get like that jacked up for the movie? Like, you know, what was your workout routine? Like, what'd you do to prepare?
The first time all the women that watched fucking Thor with no top on, that just instant wet.
Well, yeah, like in the movie, the characters were like, whoa.
But like, you know,
they were openly oogling him.
But to think that it's only
Kat Dennings and Natalie Portman were just like, whoa.
To think that it's only guys that sit there and go, oh, look at Scarlett, she looks so fucking hot, you know. You telling me the chicks aren't out there, every single one, even these ones that are fucking activists, right?
Yeah, Aquaman is not a good movie. It made a shit ton of money. Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Might have to do with Jason Momoa, maybe just a little bit, being shirtless.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just throwing that out there.
I mean, look at the way Anna, that Star Wars girl, reacts to Henry Cavill.
Oh, look what Trey said. You know? Yeah, there's been some weird questions asked of him. So,
this idea that it's only happening to the women in these superhero things, that's just nonsense. I think when the women like clap back at it, it gets more play than when the men do. But this shit happens kind of across the board because these people that go to these junkets and do these stupid interviews, and you can tell because like you'll see it and it's the same background on ET and then some other I can't think of another goddamn stupid tabloid TV program off the top.
E-News.
E-News. Hey, there you go. It's all the same set. They're in the same chairs in the same position. They literally just rotate the fucking questioner in and out.
Yeah.
Which would be like the most grueling, like, well, I guess, you know, given the money that they're making, I would gladly do that. I mean, they're probably getting paid like, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
to go sit there and.
This is a great example of the difference between making shows for normies and making shows for the hardcore fans, right? The hardcore fans want to get their girlfriends to go to watch these movies. Now, I'm not saying that there's not hardcore fans that are female. I'm just saying, like, in these movies, you spin it the other way, right? You got a hardcore female fan that wants to get her boyfriend to go and watch these movies that maybe he's not into. And it's like, oh, it's got Scarlett Johansson wearing this. Fuck yeah, I'm going to see that. Like, you know.
Oh, well, like, okay, after this stream, like, go ahead and go on YouTube and search for Chris Hemsworth, Ellen DeGeneres, or Chris or Jason Momoa, Ellen DeGeneres, and like when they're on the show and the audience gets to interact with them and everything, they're fucking. It's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much they're like just like, obviously not Ellen because but like the audience and everything, or it's just again, it's applied. It happens to both genders. Like sex sells. Sexy sells, and people like to look at nice things on the TV screen. I don't want to see myself as Thor. Well, like, I kind of did, I guess, in Endgame. But just not as muscular. The fat part, though. But, like, I don't want to see a superhero that has my physique. I want to see,
yeah.
Like, I want to, even with the dudes, like, I want to see a ripped dude. Playing the superhero, and I want to see a sexy chick in hot clothes acting sexy and being sexy on screen.
Yep.
And
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, and that's how you're making your money.
We used to say, "Oh, you're gay." Oh, not that there's anything wrong with that. Seinfeld reference. You know, now we're saying, "Fucking, you want stuff to stay." You know. Loyal to its source material, and you want things to be sexy, and you want to see nice women on the screen. You want to see nice men on the screen. Oh, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like, what's this world come to? Metal Long, later, dude. Thank you for swinging by. I appreciate you. Or swinging by. You being your fucking.
I just want to say something here quick.
Hi, Kelly. Sorry.
About Black Widow as a character. Utterly uninteresting. Like, she's generic assassin chick. I didn't find, like, she was great to look at. My God, in Iron Man 2, she was beautiful. Way the fuck out of my league. But, like, I didn't go see Iron Man 2 because she's in it. And I didn't go see, any of these MCU movies because she was in it. Like, had she not had, like, cameos in the Captain America movies, wouldn't have cared. Just wouldn't have. And I don't think, I honestly, I don't think many of the audiences would have. Like, if she was like if she is one and done after Iron Man, I don't think many people would have cared.
But you know what's really funny is, like, we've also got to push this whole LGBTQ thing, right? Are you telling me? Are you trying to tell me that lesbians didn't like seeing ScarJo looking sexy? Are you trying to tell me that gay men didn't like seeing all these male characters, Chris Hemsworth, Henry Cavill, without their shirts on? Like, is that what you're trying to tell me? Because I'd beg to differ. Like, I'm sure with the same way that I look at ScarJo is the same way that a lesbian looks at ScarJo. Unless it's just their type or whatever, right? But I'm sure that every gay man out there had the exact same reaction to all of these male characters without their tops on as a straight woman did. Like, yeah. That.
Well, again, I mean, really, like, do we want a movie starring Robin Scherbatsky because she was a reoccurring character too, and she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
I don't know what her character's name is in the MCU, but she'll always be Robin from How I Met Your Mother to me.
You'll have to ask these two about it.
I don't know her name either.
Casual.
It's oh Christ, what is her name?
I just want to butt snorkel.
Kobe Smulders.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Like, do we need a background story on her? Like, no.
Anyway, I think we've talked about this for long enough. Unless there's any more to this that you've seen that, because how long does this article go for?
Pretty long because there's.
You know what I would have asked?
Not long at all.
Oh no.
You know what I would have asked in this interview with both of them sitting there?
What?
ScarJo, how much more did you make in this movie than what's her name? Your co-star right here sitting next to you. Because I guarantee she probably made like 10 fucking times as much as her own female co-star in her movie. And if she says, well, I'm the main actor.
Was it Maria Hill?
Yeah, Maria Hill was the character's name. Robin Scherbatsky's character.
Maria Hills.
Yeah, sweetie, you weren't the main character in any of the other movies that you say you were underpaid in. Just saying. And, I'm sure you would love to get Avengers level money for doing a movie where you just yell and chat with Kylo Ren in a room for 2 hours. But, those kind of movies don't make that kind of money.
So, hey, do you think she's going to get this bonus, the $6 million bonus, if it hits 900 million?
No, I don't think we'll hit 900 million. Just quickly,
I don't think it's going to come anywhere near.
Just on this comment here from Christopher, the fucking the scene with Harley Quinn where she's putting on her outfit, right? Again, every lesbian out there was watching that going, damn, right? Every straight dude out there was watching that going, damn. And what was the camera doing? The camera was making us go, damn. I'd fuck off with the whole narrative of, the character's been so hypersexualized and all this kind of stuff. You made the character hypersexualized.
That's a really good point,
wrong with it.
That's a really good point, Ryno. You're bringing up about the LB blah 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 stuff because it's not just the opposite sex looking. What are they insinuating there, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's looking that is attracted to that particular sex, and Laura's taken off. Thanks for Monty. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank
you. Here's the other thing too. I think women okay. So I can look at these movies and be like, yeah, I want Superman to be ripped.
Yeah.
I had no issues at all with where he's coming out of the water and he has to find himself a new shirt. I was like, Jesus Christ, the work he put in to get that kind of body, I'm like, yeah, show it off, dude. I wasn't like, oh, that's offensive.
Yeah.
I was just like, good for you. I was like, good for you. Good for you, dude.
All I did when I watched that in the theater is I said, I don't look like that, and I stormed out of the theater.
Yeah, because I'm like, Superman needs to be more
you
like.
You didn't go to a gym. You went to the ice cream shop.
Yeah, you just cried in your ice cream. You're like, why can't I look like him?
And you added more M&Ms to the ice cream.
I think women probably look at the movies too, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to see ugly women in movies either. We want to see pretty attractive women as well. So I don't think many women watched Iron Man 2 and went like, oh, I'm so disgusted by how good she looks. And the type of people that were. If they said that, exactly what they're the kind of women that you don't date more than once.
Yeah. All right, let's quickly finish this article.
Yeah. My mom refused, and my mom. What did she refuse? Let's see. Blah blah blah. Not as bankable or box office draw. My mom refused that and instilled in me, no, you have to fight that. You're desirable because of your work, and that's where your value is. It's in your talent. It has nothing to do with your gender, and don't let anybody make you feel that way, she detailed. Johansson concluded, so I think it's really just a constant fight. I'm still fighting that damn fight. We all are. Back in January 2018, it was reported that Johansson would earn $25 million for her appearance in the upcoming Black Widow film. Not only did that report from the Daily Mail claim she would earn $25 million, but that if the film earns more than $900 million at the box office, I assume that means internationally, she would earn a $6 million bonus, and that will never happen. So that's the article.
Yeah.
No, so you heard it here first. Or, well, I guess if the interviewer heard it first, but she was literally the best actress in all of Hollywood when Iron Man 2 was being cast. It had nothing to do with her gender. It had nothing to do with her looks.
Yeah,
she was literally the best actress in Hollywood at age 20-something, 24,
Mhm.
25.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just like Margot Robbie is like the best actress, right? Because she got the role for Harley Quinn. Right. And she got that role she got for Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she didn't get that role in Wolf of Wall Street because she's a damn fine, sexy woman, did she?
No, it's because she was the best actress in Hollywood at the time.
Hey, and guess what? You know that scene where she's standing there naked?
Yeah.
She was actually supposed to be in underwear in that scene. And she said that the character wouldn't have done that. She would have come out completely naked. So she actually did that herself.
Oh, good for her. I appreciate that kind of dedication. But yeah, like the idea, like, oh, yep. Chris Hemsworth was cast as Thor because he was the best actor in Hollywood. Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Where do we
Henry Cavill's the best actor.
When I saw this about what ScarJo's been saying and everything, I was kind of like, no, it's now like it's almost like she's gone away from that really cool, who cares, like, what are you fucking talking about kind of thing, to brainwashed into this idea that she has been suppressed in some way because she's a woman, and now she needs to fight against that and be an activist and an ally and a, like, where does this come from with ScarJo is my whole thing on it. Because okay, she might have had her moments here and there where she's in the fetal position thinking that Trump's going to get voted in again and all that kind of stuff. All right, whatever. Right. But she still, when it came to like talking about her movies and stuff like this, there was never any of that bullshit. And now, now there is. I don't know.
Well, kind of on the subject a little bit. I there's something I got to tell you or say to everybody in the chat. And this is important. Stop being so desperate for Hollywood people to be like us or be on our side. Because what's happening now, and you're seeing it more and more, is like, like you referred to, Tim, everybody was like, yeah, like Scarlett Johansson, she's on our side. Look at what she said here. And it really wasn't what she said. And now you see people.
Gina Carano, she's on our side.
Yeah, Gina Carano, but then you got people like, oh, look at what Bill Maher is saying now. And oh, look at what Sean Penn is.
The worst example.
Yeah, and look at what Sean Penn is saying about cancel culture. He's on our side. No, he's fucking not.
Yeah.
None of these guys are on our side. They're playing both sides of the ball. They're playing on both sides. Now that the election is done and their guy got in, now they feel safe. They can tell you the truth because they've already won. And I guarantee that by the time the next presidential election comes around, they'll be right back to where they were, saying the same old shit. They're phonies and they're fakes, and they're playing both sides. And stop being so goddamn desperate to get validation from these fucking nut jobs in Hollywood. You don't need their validation. They need our validation.
But even absolutely 100%. And yes, 100% agree. Did you see that thing from the Blade actor, the guy that played Deacon Frost? Did you see that?
Stephen Dorff.
He's just trying to make himself relevant again. Is how I saw that. He's trying to get his name. He
was like shitting on like superhero movies in general, and that like they're so lowbrow, and he's basically like trying to say basically kind of what Martin Scorsese said.
But he also was saying how like the
identity
politics has trumped like story now. Didn't he say something along those lines as well?
I didn't catch that. He was basically, I caught the part where he said like Scarlett Johansson should be embarrassed, or he's embarrassed for her or some shit because these movies are so these movies are just so lowbrow.
Well, this is the thing. Hollywood will never really die.
Says the guy who did Blade.
Yeah, the Hollywood will never really die, I don't think. But there's so many new forms of entertainment out there. Streams like this and that. There's a lot out there, and I know this isn't like going off into a whole fantasy world, and we're talking about actual topics, and some of the topics might piss you off, or you might disagree, or whatever. But there are so many new forms of entertainment that I feel like Hollywood doesn't have as much control as they think they do. And it's gonna hit them hard. At some point, it's gonna swing. The pendulum is gonna swing the other way. And I'm waiting for that day to happen. I'm waiting for the day to happen where the people that were all behind all this cancel culture and all this bullshit and stuff don't get canceled, but they're shown for their absolute hypocrisy and absolute bullshit that they put out there, and the pendulum will swing. It has to.
They'll get,
because if it keeps going this way, then the entire world we may as well just start killing each other. Realistically.
Yeah, they'll get canceled.
Because you can't have somebody else's opinion. As soon as somebody else says their opinion, it's like, oh my God, you're like a World War II fucking Nazi. Like,
in
what
every
the fuck are you talking about?
In every Marxist revolution, those are the first people lined up and get shot. And then they keep a few to make the propaganda movies. So the lucky ones will be the propaganda movie actors. So good. Congratulations, Hollywood. You fucked yourself.
Yep. Anyway. Okay. How long? We've been going for nearly 2.5 hours. I don't really want to go for too much longer. I know Tim is getting a little tired. I can always see those little... I could see those yawns that you're trying to cover up, man. the ones where you do that.
Nah, he's just shut up, Greg. Let me talk.
Oh shit!
I'm not that bad, am I?
Oh, Greg is.
No, me. I'm bad. Sorry.
He doesn't get to talk anywhere else except for when he's streaming. So
yeah, I live a very sheltered life. So yeah.
All right, we already sort of talked about Loki. There's one more episode of Loki. We'll probably dive into Loki a bit more next week, because by next week the last episode will have aired and we'll know everything. So we'll talk a little bit more about it then. Like I said, we did talk a little bit about it. It's not the character really of Loki. It's not really massively pushed in regards to the identity politics or the woke stuff, but there are little traces of it. So you never know what that turns into. That's pretty much Loki at the moment. I will say if you didn't watch my review, there is a lot of sitting around and talking. Honestly, it was a 40-something minute episode, and wow. I reckon at least 50% of it was sitting around in a circle and talking. Anyway,
circle jerk.
Let's quickly talk a little bit about the Bad Batch, because we didn't get into that, and then we'll start to wrap up the stream. This is where Tim will disappear on us. They'll both mute their mics and they'll just let me talk.
Which episode are you talking about? Common Ground?
Episode 10, Common Ground.
All right, I'm looking at it right now on Wikipedia to see if they have any member berries or...
I think you should be cradling your Funko Pop while you talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Like that? Where's my fucking mouse? Oh my God. I actually was on the right screen and I went to the wrong screen. Like that? Hold it like that. Okay.
Oh, don't do that.
All right.
Hey, you got a new member.
Hey, E. Clay Thompson. Thank you very much. Thomason, sorry. I've always said E. Clay Thompson.
I know we always.
Sorry, E. Clay Thomason. I did say it there. It just was really quick. Thank you for your membership. I really appreciate that. And to all my new members today, to everyone that super chatted, everything, thank you very much. And everyone else in the chat too. You're all awesome. You're all awesome. Stig is in the house. G'day, Stig. Now, I had this problem the other night. Can you see anything on the screen there?
Nope.
No.
You got to use Firefox.
No, I've done this before and it's been fine. Hold on a second. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, I thought it was a cat.
All right, hold on. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 sec. Let me try and fix this.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't see any special guests on this episode like they always have.
No,
Kinda like the Love Boat.
This wasn't an episode for a cameo appearance. This was an episode for Omega to shine, and it was a little bit okay. There was a couple of, man, why isn't that showing up? Have they put like a thing on it where now I can't show?
Did you try Firefox?
No, I don't even have Firefox.
That's the only way I can screen record stuff.
All right,
using Firefox.
We won't show anything because I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm sorry. It worked. It's worked for everything else, but that's really weird. Okay. The episode starts off with the Empire essentially taking over a separatist world. And I can't remember the names of the characters, but this separatist leader is basically surrendering control to the Empire, and he's sort of going through this thing where he knows that it's wrong, and when he goes to make his announcement, he basically turns on the agreement that he made, and they sort of arrest him and all this kind of thing. And the Bad Batch are the ones that have to go and save him. Now, they've got their own considerations in why they don't want to go and save him because, of course, he's a separatist. He's as a leader of a separatist world. So in the Clone Wars. So let me just skip past all of this. I'm so pissed that I can't actually show you. Now, because, of course, Omega is being hunted and they don't know who they're being hunted by, and they're going to a planet that is surrounded by Imperials, they don't want to take Omega with them. So they leave her with Sid. Now, of course, they've still got this ridiculous debt with Sid because they didn't get the droid head. And apparently now they owe her money. And the point that I made in regards to why that's a ridiculous debt is because if they went to go and find this droid head, and let's say it had already been destroyed by the trash compactor thing that it was supposed to be destroyed in, or it just wasn't there, and those Trace sisters weren't there, or it's not Trace sisters, the Mortez sisters weren't there, and the head just wasn't there, and they went back and said that it wasn't there, does that mean that they still owe her money for not getting the head? That is ridiculous. So anyway, throughout this episode, I'm going to give you Omega's story really quickly. Actually, no, I'll do it the other way around. The Bad Batch guys, which is the main parts of what you see, they go and save the guy. They don't really... There's this one moment where Rex, and I think he's with Echo or Tech, he's not with Wrecker, he's with one of the other two. He goes, you and Omega go and do this. And he goes, that would be a good plan if Omega was with us, right? And then he's like, so he's got to come up with another plan. Stupid. What it's trying to do, it's like, are you telling me that Hunter forgot that that Omega wasn't there, first of all? And are you telling me that what they're trying to tell the audience is that Omega is important to all these missions that they're going on? So the next mission she'll go on. And of course, that's clarified by the end of the episode, so we'll get there. But effectively, they save the separatist leader, senator, and take the senator back to Sid to work out their payment or whatever. During all of that happening, of course, Omega is with Sid, and she's moping around. Sid's trying to get her to help clean the bar and all of this kind of stuff. And they're playing... Sid and the other two characters that you always see in that bar are playing that chess game. What's it called, Tim? You know, the Star Wars... What?
The Jarek.
Yeah, the Jarek. They were playing that, and Sid's about to make a move, and Omega goes, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And Sid looks at her and just goes sort of what would you know? Does it, and of course Sid loses. And she goes, okay, if you're so smart, what would you do next? And she's got one character left against two characters. I don't exactly know how it works, but she comes over and goes, beep, beep, beep. And that one character that they've got takes out the other two characters and they win the game.
Nice.
In doing that, Omega then essentially makes a deal. I wish I could show you this scene with the audio. Sid goes, "You want to make some money, right?" And what's her name goes, Omega goes, "How much?" Sid goes, "You get like, I think 20% or 30%. And Omega hits back with 60%. Right? And she gets her 60%. Anyway, during all of that, while they're out on their mission, Omega pays off their debt by playing or winning all of these games. She doesn't lose. She doesn't lose one game. Even one of the guys in the crowd that's watching the last match there go on goes, "She won again." Anyway, she pays off their debt. Hunter comes in and he's a little bit, angry that she wasn't supposed to draw attention to herself. And Sid's like, "Well, show her some gratitude. She paid off your entire debt." And he goes, "Did you?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then he sits down and goes, "With strategy skills like that, if you beat me, you'll never miss another mission ever again." So they sit down to play their little match. And of course, the episode ends, but we all know that Omega's going to win that match and she's never going to miss a mission ever again. So that was the episode.
Boring.
A bunch of filler with Omega being good at strategy now too. Like, war strategy. Like that's how they're sort of, if you're that good at strategy, it was all about her being really, really good at strategy. Strategy. And every episode prior to that has been Omega being good at everything. And I know there's people out there that go, "Oh, well, she ended up on a Kaminoan planet with Kaminoan technology, and she was raised in a Kaminoan base. So why wouldn't she know how to use everything?" Okay, like, first of all, not everybody that works in these places can operate and fucking knows how to do absolutely every fucking thing. Sure, there are the people in there that probably do. But anyway, it's just, she's a Mary Sue. Plain and simple. The exact definition of a Mary Sue. I've not had to see her overcome anything. When she does overcome something, it's like not being able to pull her bow back and she can't aim at the target because she's pulling her bow. And then a couple of minutes later in the episode, it's like, all I have to do is tune out distractions. Okay.
Wow. It's so childish. That's the thing.
It is. It's so childish. And it is still the same story as The Mandalorian. It's babysitters in space. Nothing's changed. It's just, again, this episode was just a boring episode. It explains how Omega's good at another thing, and the Bad Batch succeed in their mission. That's it. So who knows? I mean, I think there's 16 episodes, so there's 6 more to go. If it's 16, maybe there's 18. I can't remember. If anyone in the chat can remember, let me know. She's Omega Sue. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. I don't know. I know that there's not a lot of interest out there for this. And I think since the beginning of July, I haven't had any one of my videos hit 100 views. So like the interest of a lot of these things has completely dropped off. So in regards to that, that's why I'm actually looking at starting to do some more, get some more content out there in regards to video essay style videos too.
Well, you look at anime and stuff and how amazing a lot of the storytelling is now and always has been in anime, right? Like it or not. And then you look at something like this and it's like, it's night and day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching a preschool, 6 o'clock in the morning bullshit TV show versus watching an Oscar nominated film. I think that's the difference here. And it just looks like garbage. I'm surprised they didn't have some special guest, like some character from the past. But I did notice that if Greg is listening right now, that Alexander Siddig played the senator guy. And he's an actor. He was in one of the main cast of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So He voiced that senator, that separatist senator.
Right.
And he was in a dragon movie. What was that dragon movie called? Reign of Fire?
I've never seen it. Never heard of it.
It's like dragons, like in modern times, basically.
Right.
And it's like a post-apocalyptic world and all this shit. So anyway, Alexander Siddig in Star Wars now.
There you go. Maybe we'll get to see him in live action. I wonder if he actually looks like the character. Show me.
He might.
Can you bring up a picture of him?
Yeah. In his current age, he probably does. He used to be younger and handsome and all that, but that was over 25 years ago. Let's see.
Is he bald?
I don't think so. Let's check to see when this picture was from. This is from 2009. It's hard to find a recent picture. Let me check IMDb. 83 photos. Let's go to the last page, because in theory those will be the newest. Oh, he looks like he's dyeing his hair. This is as close as I can get. This is from 2012. Share screen. He's still kind of handsome for his age, you know.
They could actually make him look like him, actually. Yeah. But he doesn't look like him. Obviously, this character's bald. He's got like a white moustache that comes across, sort of swings down and then goes back up.
Yeah, I saw it on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah, they could probably make him look like that.
He kind of has the Lemmy beard. Lemmy from Motorhead. But yeah, I just noticed his name. I'm like, whoa, he's in Star Wars, or in Disney Star Wars anyway. So it means I'm going to like the show and watch it.
It was just a boring episode.
It looks boring.
Yeah. And like, this is the thing too, is I relate this to both the Marvel stuff and the Star Wars stuff. You know, they better pay these things off. We better get some great culmination of some story at the end of it. And I know that I'm asking for a lot, but that shouldn't be a lot. That shouldn't be asking for a lot. Like, the thing that I don't want to see at the end of Loki, and I know that we're going to get, is I want to see them tie up the story into a nice little bow. And then, yes, okay, give us a teaser or something of how you can relate it to the movie that you want to bring out that it's going to be attached to. But it's not going to be that. It's going to be everything's left open, right? To get any context to that, you need to watch the movie, right? But the problem with doing that too is that the normies out there aren't all watching the different TV series. So as soon as that next movie comes out, it's not going to make any sense to them because they haven't watched what's in between. Now, there's been directors in the past that have come out and said, well, if you haven't watched it, that's your own fault. We've told you that it's all attached and that it's all important to watch to know the parts of the story, right? But that's in regards to the movies. When you take away the TV series, those movies should still be able to connect smoothly to as they go, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I just see with both Loki and with the Bad Batch that they're not going to end anything. I mean, you look at the end of fucking The Mandalorian. Everything's open. Baby Yoda's gone off with Luke. Fucking Din Djarin has now got the Darksaber and he's still on the bridge of an Imperial ship. That's where we've ended, right? You've got there was another character that I thought of. The chick that makes all the weapons, the Mandalorian chick. You've got the leader of. Anyway, they've got so many different storylines still left open, and you know what's going to be next? Are we going to get any culmination of the story in the Book of Boba Fett? In the story that they want to tell? No, because you know what's important? Showing that fucking Fennec Shand is a strong female character, right? As opposed to actually telling the true story. And you know why I know that that's what the Boba Fett series is going to be about? Because that's what they're starting to set up in the Bad Batch with Fennec Shand showing up. Anyway,
Yeah, and it's important.
And again, making the world, making the universes tiny and doing that too.
Yeah, and it's important that they show that the name of Boba Fett's ship is Boba Fett Starship. So,
yeah, so important. Isn't that so important? You know, we don't want people to think that we support slavery. We better change the ship. The ship's name. So dumb.
Oh, it's not that they support it. It's the S word. You know, you can't say that word. You got to have an S word pass.
Yeah.
But it's all garbage, man. It's all garbage, and the outlook is bleak. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Just quickly, in regards to my Marvel Encyclopedia series, I'm probably going to still do those now and then, but I'm going to do them differently. I'm not just going to read the page out. I'm going to do them as we're seeing sort of characters come out, and I'm just going to give my take on whether or not they've done it well, whether or not they've done that, what they've changed, or what they've done poorly, all of that sort of thing. So that's just thought I'd let you know.
You know what you should do? Go back to stuff like First Class and do it with like X-Men and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be current, you know. That would be cool to watch too.
Yeah, I might actually.
What a great movie, by the way.
Yeah. But look, we've been going now 2 hours 45. You're allowed to disagree. We've been going for nearly 3 hours, so we'll start wrapping it up here. Let's go around. Tim, thank you for being here. Let everyone know where they can find you and what you've got coming up.
Am I posting links or are you posting links?
No, you are.
Okay. What do I have coming up? Well, tomorrow night on my channel, which I will put in the chat if I can find it out of my dozens of links.
I'll do it.
You sure?
Yep.
I'm going to do my spacing stream, but it's going to be different. It's going to be earlier, and it's going to be a celebration stream for my monetization. So these guys will be there, and a whole bunch of other people that I invited, friends and people that I feel are responsible for helping me to get here. And just like with Ryno, my memberships are open. I'm really up to 10 members, but one person is waiting on their damn credit card to get there that got expired. So
like that.
Yeah, and I actually fell asleep right here last night. People, I'm trying to think of some perks for some of the higher levels. So just know that is, and even some of the lower levels, that is coming for sure. And there's one more avatar. What is it? Emoji. There's one more that I have, another slot. I'm trying to think of a really good one. So definitely check that out if you're interested. And then Saturday night's Fall of Night with the Voices of Authority. Me, these two guys, and OG Star Wars, Alora that was modding earlier. So that's going to be great. We have some topics, some really fun stuff. So be there for that. And then Sunday, it's me and Greg off the Trex is back. We'll continue the first episode, I think, of Picard. And we tore that thing apart. We did finish it?
We finished the end of the episode.
It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, so we'll go to the next episode of Picard.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, I think we did. And then I think it's Tuesday. I'll let you guys know when I put it out. But me and Teresa, a.k.a. Ms. Martin Muses, and Matt Wilkins are back with Babylon 5, this time Season 3. We're going to do a little bit different this time. We're going to pull up the list of episodes and kind of talk about each one. Hey, what was awesome about this one, because that season, it really kicked in. But yeah, and there's some other stuff coming up. I just put out my Slave 1 video. What time? Good question, Michelle. So tomorrow night, it's going to be approximately 21 hours from right now. So around 9 p.m. Central in the States. And then our show on Saturday nights right after Mara ends. So 11 something Central. So, and then me and Greg sometime Sunday night. But yeah, my Slave 1 video's out there, and I'm working on all kinds of other videos I want to get out. But enough about me. Thanks for having me, Ryno.
Beautiful. Everyone go
and join Ryno's channel.
Yes, please do. Join memberships. Got a few now, which is awesome. Greg.
Good man. Icon gets a full screen. Yay.
Last Jedi 22.
Yeah.
Please let everyone know where they can find you and what you've got coming up, if anything.
Well, you just kind of gave it away. It's Last Jedi 22.
Yes. So go and subscribe to watch it.
Pretty easy. You can subscribe to my channel. I haven't put anything new out.
Thank you, Bob.
But eventually there will be John China will make an appearance on the channel.
Yes. Can't wait.
Stay tuned from that. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy, living on everybody else's streams. So
awesome. Well, thank you for being here as per usual. And as for me, I've got, of course, the Full Aussie this weekend. Lethal Lightning's channel, Saturday mornings for all you Americans, Saturday night evenings for all us Australians. Of course, we've got Fall of Night on Sunday afternoon or Saturday night. And channel members and Patreons. Let's quickly do that now. Thank you to Daniel James, Lethal Lightning, Open Airlock Policy, Lady Tariel, My Nerdy Home, Riff Magos, and Scimitar on the Patreon side. Thank you. And then on the membership side, we've got Biggles Metz, Daniel James, Scimitar, Lethal Lightning. There was E. Clay Thomason, and I'm gonna have to go and have a look actually because I think that's it. But if I miss someone, I'm sorry. But everyone, thank you all for being here. I'm going to be putting out a little bit more content. Of course, this week we've got the last episode of Loki. That's going to be interesting. And we've got the Bad Batch tonight. So I'll have a review out either later today or tomorrow. Thank you, everyone who super chatted. I appreciate all of you. And in the Streamlabs side, I thank you too. And what can I leave you with? We'll go.
I think you should leave with you giving your new toy a kiss for the camera.
Oh boy. Headbutt.
Or headbutt. That works too.
There you go. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week for Casual Rage again as well. Thank you. Bye. Oh, whoa. Ryan Kennel should be on next week's Casual Rage. So that should be awesome as well. So everyone, thank you for being here. We'll catch you later. Bye.
I don't care.
Dumb fuck. You're such a dumb fuck. You fucking dumb fuck.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt! R4. Prepare to jettison the spare part canisters.
Red 2, standing by.
Red 11, standing by.
Red 5, standing by.
Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil! From my point of